am Playopbeard here with the one and only Nivmet. We got Shinkaigen mic'd up in the back, and we are excited to come to you live for the Update 2.11 activation stream. The activation itself will begin at approximately 9 a.m. Pacific. That is about a half an hour from now. Theoretically, there will be no downtime. This will be just for fun, a chance for Nivmet to talk through all the balance changes that he did, a chance to talk through all of the things that are different in the update, a chance to hear from Shinkaigen on how to dominate with the new hero Varia, watch some videos, have a good time. So that's what we're here to do. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm okay.
What, it's early?
Well, someone stole my donut this morning.
Someone stole your donut?
Yes.
Wait, there's a specific donut?
Yeah, so there's, you know that picture you tweeted out? There's always a specific donut of a type of, I like this like scrunchy donut. And I came in today and Shin was missing. I was like, okay, whatever. And then I'm talking with Trugo a bit and Shin walks in eating my donut.
He's eating your donut.
The same donut I get every single update stream.
The same donut.
And he finishes it. I'm like, but that one was mine. He's like, yeah, it sucked. And he didn't even like it. He hated it.
But did he ate my donut? But what is the backstory here? Was it that he saw that you always ate this donut and he was like, let me try, let me see if I like this donut?
Yeah, that was it.
Shin, do you have anything to say in your own defense here? You're getting beat up on the stream.
First and foremost, okay, Niv should have got here sooner, okay? I'm sorry.
Ow, stop. Stop.
He's like Emperor Palpatine. You can have all the donuts, just don't do that anymore. You can have any donut you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm dying. Make it stop. It hurts. My ears are bleeding.
Well, ow, that hurt.
In order for the stream to hear me, I guess it has to be loud for you guys.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
Wait, what is this about the donut? Shin?
All the donuts are his now. They belong to him. All
right, let's move on. Shin has asserted his dominance, and all the donuts belong to him. And we've established now publicly. Okay. All right.
I'll
ears.
never complain about donuts.
Okay, can you guys hear me better now?
But I don't hear anything else now. I don't hear myself or Nivmet, so you broke everything.
How about this? Better?
All right. So, so long as the people out there can hear, that's all that matters.
I hope they can, because
yeah, it feels different now. But so long as the people out there can hear it, that's fine. All right. What do we have today? We have the new hero Varia. We have a new seasonal brawl game mode, Onslaught, which we're going to talk all about.
Man,
this is a new season. This is a winter season transition.
That's right.
5v5 golden tickets. People are going to want to know about that. Related to 5v5 early access. We have the balance changes, hero changes, item changes, talent changes, bug fixes. Let's get into all of it. Nivmet, let's start. We have a new hero entering the fold. She is Lightning Incarnate. Make sure you read the Sugar Venom lore about this book that becomes the Lightning, becomes the person. It's an amazing story. I love this story.
I actually really like it.
And it gets into the Storm Queen backstory.
I really want to hear more about the anvil.
Yeah.
Or the where she
Well, she didn't quite tell the story of why Varia killed Lyra in the video, but we'll watch that video. We'll watch the spotlight. For most of you probably have not seen the Varia Hero spotlight at this point, just hot off the presses, so we will show that as well. Let's get into this hero. Shinkaigen, if you'd be so kind to show us this hero, and we'll get into all the things.
Not again.
Welcome to the Vainglory Hero Spotlight, featuring Varia. When the Storm Queen's need became dire, an infected raven delivered her message to the anvil. As below, so above. In response, the World Seer sent Varia, the living knowledge of lightning, to defend the Queen's empire from the churn. Varia is literally power molded into a human form, and as such, commands one of the most lethal arsenal of abilities of any mages in Vainglory. She is a hero forged to fight the elemental destruction called the Churn, and as such, wields lethal lightning that can leap between enemy heroes and leave them as shaking, burned-out husks. For those seeking to master a hero with deep tactical depth and power, Varia leads the charge. As a powerful storm mage, Varia's basic attacks have several unique properties. First, all of Varia's basic attacks deal bonus crystal damage, which grows with her overall level and crystal power. Second, whenever she holds her ground after performing one basic attack, her next one will strike her target and arc to 3 additional targets, dealing full damage to all of them. These kinds of basic attacks will consume some of her energy. Do you still like shocking the crap out of people? Well, good news. Buying attack speed items will decrease the delay and enable Varia to fire her chain lightning even faster. Her enemies call Varia's first ability Storm Forged Spear. When activated, Varia gathers her power, forging it into a spear of pure lightning, then hurls it at her terrified victim. This ability explodes on the first enemy hero hit, inflicting damage to all of the enemies near them. You still want to shock the crap out of people more? Well, good news, friend. Overdriving this ability increases its range, allowing her to strike more victims from even further away. They named her next ability Arc Recursion because of how complicated and archy it sounds. When you see Varia gathering her power, be very, very afraid. Arc Recursion fills a bar beneath Varia's energy bar. When she is fully charged, Varia's next 2 move commands will empower her to dash in that direction, unleashing chain lightning on crying enemies near her destination. And to add even more nightmare fuel to their troubles, Varia recovers energy and gains barrier for each enemy her power strikes. You want to shock the crap out of more people? If you overdrive Arc Recursion, the range of the dash will increase, empowering Varia to smack down even more pitiless fools. Those adversaries that live to cry about it call Varia's ultimate Anvil's Hammer. Once again, if you see Varia gathering her power, death and destruction is soon to follow, and this is all the more true for her ultimate ability. Varia charges, gathering the sheer fury of all storms before literally unleashing terrifying lightning strikes on all enemy heroes, no matter where they may be on the battlefield. Upgrading this ability increases the impact radius of these lightning strikes, making it even harder for those still living to crawl for cover. You still want to shock the crap out of more people? Well, good news, friend. Each rank of Anvil's Hammer permanently increases Varia's attack speed, as well as the number of additional targets Chain Lightning and Storm Forged Spear will hit. Varia's abilities have significant cast times, but can be weaved together to form lightning-quick combos. For instance, Varia can activate her Storm Forged Spear at any point during Arc Recursion. Use it during the initial channel time to throw the spear and still be able to follow it up with 2 dashes. Cast Storm Forged Spear after the first dash of Arc Recursion, allowing Varia to dash back to safety after it's fired. Varia can also cast skills before her ultimate is finished channeling, allowing her to attack or get into position much sooner. Using Anvil's Hammer is a great way to start off a team fight and can force the enemies into making bad decisions. In this clip, Varia casts her ultimate safely outside of the team fight. Then, as the lightning bolts rain down from the sky, she makes her move on the enemy Gwen. If Gwen stands to fight Varia, she will probably get hit by the incoming blasts. However, getting away from Varia isn't easy. She'd have to dodge the lightning strike directed at her and try not to run into the lightning strikes targeting her ally. Gwen chooses to flee, but Varia takes advantage of the chaos. She casts Storm Forged Spear, followed by a Chain Lightning too quickly to finish off Gwen. Then, with only Arden left on the enemy team, Varia and friends quickly finish him off for the ace. Knowing when to fully charge Arc Recursion can be the difference between victory and getting your face smashed. Here, Varia is collapsed upon by the entire enemy team. Facing certain death, she begins to channel Arc Recursion and waits until it is fully charged before dashing and hitting the enemy twice, granting double the barrier. The second dash allows her to reposition herself far enough away to fire a Storm Forged Spear and a series of Chain Lightnings to take out the Rona. With the Berserker out of the way, they're able to turn their attention onto the Reza and send him crying back to the Netherworld. Varia's quick thinking allowed her to not only escape with her life, but pick up 2 kills and win the team fight. Thanks for watching the Varia Vainglory Spotlight. Make sure to check out Varia's lore for more about her origins.
All right, that is Varia coming to the fold in really just a few minutes. Nivmet, talk to me a little bit about this hero, about this kit, how you think about the hero.
Man.
Shinkaigen, please feel free to chime in as well.
This hero is probably one of my favorite laners that's ever existed. Like, you get the sort of feeling like she sort of plays like old CP Vox in a way where, but if you took away power from her AoE and then put it more into the single target. So, but at the same time when you're playing her, you feel very much like the character. She's very fantasy fulfilling, like the theme is there. So when you're dashing around like at the speed of lightning, chucking these bolts of lightning at people as you make it rain lightning, as lightning arcs between them, you're like, yes, I am lightning incarnate. It feels really good to play this hero. And so this hero definitely is, there's two ways to play her. So you have her core build will most likely be a alternating current build. What makes this really good is that how she does a double attack, much like Lyra, because Cider Helm, you know, same hero, right, or same designer. It will actually proc alternating current on every single time you do the empowered version. It counts as 2 different attacks. And then obviously you have the arcing part of it, which scales with attack speed. And so as you build more attack speed, you will find yourself creating more and more arcs of lightning between your opponents, amassing more and more damage. And then of course your B at that point is more repositioning, but it's great for playmaking. You really want to use your B to get as many people along the edges before you keep auto attacking. The poke build, her A has ridiculously awesome range. And so when you're charging up that bolt of lightning from afar and you're just striking them down, you really want to keep your distance. This build unfortunately does not do as well in terms of like constant DPS, but her poke game is on point. It's probably the best poke ability in the game, even.
Shin, anything you want to add to that?
Oh no, I would just defer to Niv. So fun fact. Usually when we do like spotlights and stuff, it's usually Nivmet or myself playing the hero. And for this spotlight, it was all him. So the one you see like crushing people in that spotlight, that's all Niv.
All right, and second fun fact, the person capturing that footage was our very own Humanist, who did an amazing job with that video. And Humanist, of course, will be casting the 2017 Vainglory World Championship. He will be casting the 5v5 matches at the World Championship, and I'm excited to get into a lot more about all of that as we go.
I can't wait to show it up. I want to talk about it. I want to talk.
Oh, you want to talk about 5v5?
I want to talk about 5v5.
Well, there's a few little things perhaps we can get into today.
A couple things.
We'll go through. We got plenty of time here. Anyone who's joining us late, this is the Update 2.11 activation stream. Theoretically, there's going to be 0 downtime. The activation will begin around 9 a.m. Pacific. That's about 20 minutes from now. Theoretically, the moment that happens, you should be able to go to the App Store. Sometimes it takes a little bit for the App Store to propagate, for stuff to show up on the App Store, but from our end, we're just going to push it live. There should be no downtime. You should just be able to go and download 2.11 and play right away. We like to do the stream to let you know everything that's coming, as well as, in case something goes wrong, we can tell you it's taking a little longer, but theoretically there will be no downtime, so we're just hanging out, having fun. More things about Varia here. First time ever, there's a skin that is coming out the same day the hero is releasing.
That's right.
That's a milestone for us, and there will be a special discount bundle on getting the hero in the skin at the same time. So look for that in the store. And anything else about this hero right now before we move on?
Actually, quick pro tip. So this hero's lock times are actually pretty significant. But you can reduce the lock times of her A. Her A has like a big wind-up, and her ult actually has a large wind-up as well. And something that you can do, you can activate your, like after you dash, you can use your A to throw a quick spear.
Yeah.
That not only makes it harder to dodge, but by you being locked down less, that gives you more survivability.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's an important point. And all throughout that video, Lyra is getting slaughtered all over the place by Varia. That does go back to the lore. I'm sure Sugar Venom will tell that story in full. Involves the Living Library and Lyra's book. So I'm sure she'll get into that story at some point. But if you haven't read the stories that are there for Varia, some of the best stuff we've ever done, check the news tab in-game. You'll find all of the lore, chance to read up, bring a little bit more to the hero. Never fails, but she really, like, you could feel it when she's really tapped into something. Like, she really tapped into this hero, and I think produce some amazing stuff, and it just brings more to the hero. It's more fun when you play, when you know the backstory, when you know the relationships with the other characters. Maybe you go into a casual or a blitz and you build a comp based around the lore. Sometimes it's really fun, or other themes you guys love to run. With Yuma Rankin, love to run those gladiator skin comps.
They love to run gladiators. They do right now. Winter themes is the other thing that people are doing.
Well, it's winter season. Welcome to winter season in Vainglory. We should probably briefly talk about winter season. What's going to happen? So, first up with winter season, whatever was your highest rank in autumn, that gets immortalized in your trophy case. That is yours to keep. Congratulations on that trophy. I hope winter treats you even better. Second, what happens with your rank? You get a hard reset back to 0 on your rank, and then you're granted bonus progress based on your rank the prior season. So the higher you rank the prior season, the more kind of head start progress you will get. It'll net out. You'll see where you are. Not the same for everyone, because not everyone, made the same progress in the prior season. If you're not playing for a while, then you'll feel that too in terms of where your rank lands. Same with your blitz score. That will also be reset with some progress granted based on how you did in Blitz the prior season.
I know some pros who have been really driving it hard in Blitz. There's some pro players who really, it's not fun to run into them.
And speaking of Vainglory short game modes, there is a new game mode in Update 2.11. The seasonal game mode. It is called Onslaught. This is the first time we've done a rounds-based mode in Vainglory. It is escalating rounds of basically just all team fighting. So if you're the kind of person who's you're working through the laning phase or working through the mid game and you can't wait to get to that team fighting phase, this is all team. You literally have no choice but to team fight, because the playing field will shrink and force you to fight until there's only one person or more people from that team standing. Really rave reviews internally in terms of just when you want that fix, when you just want to fight, no fear, just fight, this is the place to be.
Yeah, so this mode is Ubel Andre's baby. It was created actually a little bit a while ago, maybe 6 months ago. But we never really had a chance to clean it up and bring it to light. And we had an opportunity this time around. We're like, let's do this. This is the time to bring in rounds. And so it didn't have the name on, so it was called Rounds at the point. And we were super excited and super passionate about this. And we got these different rules set in, and we put a little nuances. We understood, we didn't want early game comps to just dominate, because that's how it was early on. And so people started, we added this, the investment system where you could hold on to gold to get more gold later on. And then we're we want to, talents need to be incorporated, but we don't want just people to use their one talent and then off they go, because some talents were just not healthy for the game mode, right?
Yeah, and we do have a video on this, so maybe we should watch the video and then you can add all that context to it. Is there anything else you want to add before we jump into the video?
Oh, I want to play.
But, you want to play?
But
all right,
I will wait patiently and watch the video with everyone.
All right, let's take a look at this Onslaught video that Shinkaigen put together, and then we can talk about it.
Ever wanted the fun of slaying your opponents without any other distractions? Enter Onslaught, Vainglory's short brawl game mode, where 2 teams of 3 players lock horns in consecutive rounds of tight quartered combat. Each round, the stakes are raised, with more money to spend and talents from which to choose. And because it's all action, your team fighting skills are tested every match. If you don't have time for a full 20-minute match, or you want short bursts of intense fun, Onslaught will be your new favorite game mode. Here is how it works. Players compete in a best of 5 rounds format. At the start of each round, players can select a talent that they own for their hero. Choose when to use a talent carefully. Once a talent is used, it will be unavailable for future rounds. Players will be granted gold and experience in order to buy items and level up their hero. Players will also be rewarded additional gold based on how much gold they had left over in the previous round, so sometimes it may be advantageous to hold off on purchasing items. Once everyone is ready, players are teleported to the middle of the map where they will fight to the death. If an entire team is not eliminated within that time, then sudden death occurs and the playing field begins to shrink. Players outside of the boundary will take a large amount of damage and must make their way toward the center of the map. A team wins the round once all members of the opposing team are eliminated. The first team to win 3 rounds wins the match. Try out the new Blitz Onslaught game mode when it comes to Vainglory in Update 2.11.
To you.
Oh, hello, we're back already. All right. Got caught watching the video there on the stream.
I was watching alongside the players.
All right, so that is Onslaught, and you were saying about a couple of the nuances there that make it's interesting in that this game mode, you can really just have a slaughterfest, but there is more depth when you peel back the layers. There is more complexity that you can bring to it and make it a more intricate experience.
Yeah, so as I was saying, there were some talents that, like, for example, Raid Boss Finn. Raid Boss Finn was, like, incredibly ridiculous and, like, it was just really strong in this mode. And so we're like, well, we need a way to make this a little bit more fair. And so they had the idea of coming up with having your talents only once per round. So now there's a couple of reasons why I like this. One, it makes it feel good because, you know, you're like, I can save this talent for when I need it. Like, maybe I'll sandbag the first 2 rounds, get as much gold as I can, and then I'm going to use all 3 talents all in a row to get, like, this reverse sweep win, which is pretty fun. The other side of it is, like, it allows you can win if you don't have a large talent pool. And I think that's been a lot of requests. Like, people want talents, but at the same time, you know, if you don't have talents, you know, we appreciate every player. And this way, you know, someone with 1 talent is still going to be able to keep up with someone with 2 talents, right? They may have a slight advantage in 1 round, but that's all it is. So.
And one thing that I liked is it really added another dimension to the 5-hero chest, right?
Yes.
Because it's like, now every time you get a talent in the 5-hero chest, you're thinking about the implications for Onslaught, where that's 1 more talent that you have, or you go to the market and you're able to see a new one in those 3 that show up every day. It's like that's 1 more talent you now have available when you go to Onslaught for one of these rounds of Onslaught play.
Exactly.
So it adds another kind of dimension of interest to the talent system for me, which is fun. And I'm excited for people to get in and take a shot at this mode.
It's going to be amazing. If some of you have seen, I've been on almost every night playing this game mode along a lot of the streamers. It is so fun to play. I cannot wait for this one to go out.
I saw a comment in chat from Low Rider Cat. Hello from Russia. Varia is a very beautiful name in our country. Can you tell us about why you choose this name? Well, we're going to have our art director Chainsaw on in just a little bit. We'll get into all the things about all of the inspirations for Varia when he stops by a little bit later. So we'll hold off on that for just a moment, but we'll get to that question and others when Chainsaw joins us. All right, so that is Onslaught. Again, just a very quick recap in terms of how to think about Onslaught. Every round, first thing you do is you select a talent, then you spend your gold or strategically choose to not spend some gold, and then you hit ready, then you're ready to fight. It drops you in.
You hit ready repeatedly because you get more thumbs up the more you hit ready.
All right, you hit ready, you go
repeatedly.
in. If you don't hit ready, eventually it'll start anyway, so you can't just take infinite time, you know, messing around in the shop. And you play to the death. You do not respawn. When the round ends, when there's no players remaining from one of the teams, then you're back at the spawn platform. You know, repeat the cycle. Have a lot of fun. Let us know what you think. It's a seasonal game mode. We're only committed to it right now through winter. So we'll see what the players tell us about this game mode, and we'll go from there. All right.
See what they like.
Next up on the list, let's talk about golden tickets. All right, so golden tickets are going to be a thing in Update 2.11 if you're joining us late. We're doing a fun stream. It's not a downtime stream. The update activation will begin in about 10 minutes, and that should just be it. There shouldn't be any downtime at all if everything goes as planned, but we wanted, you know, there's a lot of stuff packed into this update, so we wanted to take a few minutes to run through everything with everybody, hang out, have some fun. Next thing is golden tickets. what are golden tickets? Golden tickets are the only way to get into 5v5 early access, okay? There are a number of different ways that you can do that. One of them, the way that has been ongoing, is go to 5v5.vainglorygame.com and pre-register, and by pre-registering, you are eligible for various lottery drawings based on your region and your device type and your platform. It's random lottery. If you get picked, you get a golden ticket. If you get a golden ticket, you get into 5v5 early access. That is the way that has been ongoing. You also get the 5v5 Founding Players badge upon the release of that badge just by pre-registering on the site. Don't have to do anything else to get that. So that is the way that has been ongoing. What's happening in Update 2.11 is, starting in Update 2.11, anytime you complete a quest, so all those things in the right-hand sidebar, anytime you complete a quest, there's a very small chance it's going to drop one of these rare, precious golden tickets. And if you get that golden ticket, there's going to be a like a quest slot in perpetuity in Update 2.11 that is dedicated to golden tickets, dedicated to 5v5 early access. You get yourself a golden ticket. The state on that thing will change, and it'll basically let you know, hey, man, you're good. You're going to be able to get into early access the moment early access releases. So all you have to do, just play as you normally would, or play to complete those quests.
It's the golden ticket theme song.
Oh. And just play your way, as you normally would. Play to complete quests, and if you're one of the lucky few, you will get into Vainglory 5v5 before everyone else. There are a few more ways that you can do this. What did I forget? Oh yes, okay.
Quest
so
and chess.
Well, yes. So specifically, wanting to honor those who support Vainglory through premium box purchases. So we will have a special holiday-themed box arriving on December 17th. And that box is not a golden ticket box, per se. That box is just a great holiday box with a lot of holiday-themed content in it, holiday-themed skins, etc. But every time you do a pull on that box, you do have a rare chance of getting a golden ticket out of that again. So it's not a golden ticket box. That's not the purpose of the box, but it's one more way you could potentially get it when you support Vainglory. I was surprised, though, Nimet, that some people seem kind of confused on a couple things when this came out. So just to clarify a couple critical points. Number one, this is purely related to early access, which will be before the worldwide full public release of Vainglory 5v5. It's just for fun, just for people who want to complete quests, have a chance to get in and play early. When 5v5 releases to everyone, there will be no gating. You will not need a golden ticket. You will not need to spend any money. It will be completely free, and everyone will be able to play 5v5. So if you just want to chill and play Onslaught and do whatever, check out Varia, don't want to worry about any golden ticket stuff, you do not have to worry about anything related to golden tickets. You will still be able to play 5v5 when 5v5 releases to the general public. And the other thing, which I mentioned before, is a little bit of confusion, people thinking they need a golden ticket to get that special loading screen badge. You do not. All you have to do is pre-register at 5v5.vainglorygame.com. The moment you put in your email, you have taken the step you need to get this loading screen badge. I believe what will happen is sometime before the badge comes out, you will get a follow-up at that email saying, hey, do this, and you'll get the badge unlocked. So just you'll keep an eye out for that email, and you'll get the badge. You do not have to do anything with golden tickets to get the special exclusive badge related to pre-registering. But all of this, of course, is the preamble to 5v5 itself. Nimet, every day there are kind of more check-ins on 5v5 related to these, the live exhibition match that we're doing at the World Championship on December 17. Every day it looks better and better. Every day the playtests are just more and more fun. There's not a whole lot we can say right now. I hope you're following Vainglory channels and social media, because we are kind of dripping out.
We're showing little bits of what you're gonna see.
Yeah, and honestly, that's not even as cool as everything looks now, because
those kind of things?
Every day things look cooler.
Yeah.
But we can only take the screenshots when we could take them for those releases. But I believe we've revealed the river, Black Claw Rush. I believe we've revealed that there are 2 river shops on either end of the river, which means that you, in 5v5, you will be able to shop away from base, and that shopping is not shop anywhere. Those are both kind of important nuances to Vainglory 5v5. And just in the past couple days, if you've been paying attention, revealed a new vision system, scout cams, which we haven't talked in detail about how those work.
Nope.
But a new vision system, scout cams, in Vainglory 5v5 specifically. And I believe, if I'm not getting out in front of my skis, that we have now also shown on social media a new item coming to Vainglory.
Yes, we did, actually.
5v5.
Yes.
Teleport boots.
Yes.
That
So,
you can talk about.
we haven't described exactly how it works.
Okay, don't describe exactly how it works.
But it is exactly as it sounds.
There you go.
You will be able to sling yourself across the map, or, well, you don't really sling because that would imply movement. Instant transportation.
Teleport even?
Yes. Fine. I was trying to avoid that word because that's the name of the item, but fine. Teleport across the map.
Flu network across the map.
Sure. Yes, that works. To, where you need to be, right? Like, let's say you want to split push a lane, right? Boom, you're there. Let's say you need to defend a turret. Boom, you're there. Like, it's
Give
the
me another boom,
playmaking
you're
on
there.
it is there's so many playmaking moves that you can do with your team as well, but there's a downside to it, like you get this instant long distance transportation, but you're going to lose, the active of your boots. You won't be able to, boots.
You won't be able to sprint.
Sprint, yes.
Interesting trade-off there. And, of course, also you're spending money on this, which means you're not spending that money on something else, more offense, more defense. So the trade-offs, as there always are. Many more things to come in 5v5 before the World Championship starts on December 14. It's a 4-day tournament on December 17, right before the Grand Finals. Renegades will take the stage and play 5v5 in front of the world, the global unveiling of Vainglory 5v5. So be sure to watch for that. And if you've seen our prior articles, there's also a World Championship Catherine skin coming out. Here's what you need to know about that. On the 17th, there will be a banner in the news, when you open the app, and it will say "Watch Live," and it will have Catherine on it. If you tap on that banner, it will take you to the stream of the World Championship. You must watch for 30 minutes. If you watch for 30 minutes at any time on that final day, that's just the grand finals day of the World Championship, watch for 30 minutes. Having gone through that flow, if you just open up your phone, open up the stream, we do not know that you've done that. We are not magicians. You have to tap through the banner in the game. But if you tap through the banner in the game, and you watch for 30 minutes, you will get the World Championship Catherine skin absolutely 100% free. Shinkai, I don't know if we have anything else that we can show for that.
Actually, can we see that spot shot again?
Yeah.
Boop.
I just wanted to point out the sign in the corner.
The other side of the corner.
This is World Championship Shinkagen.
Right, which you
Yeah.
did not ask for.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
We just saw this come out.
I would like to
And there it
clarify, I
was.
did not ask or want that there. It was
Yeah.
someone I saw on Twitter was like, why is Shin so conceited? I'm like, I didn't
Oh,
ask
man.
for that to be there.
Shin is the most conceited person I've ever met, for sure.
Takes all the
My
donuts.
God. He just walks around talking about his past accomplishments. Hello, it's Yuma Rankin. You want to say hi?
Hi, the whole World Champion Shinkai thing is completely my fault. So you can 100% blame me.
As well as your co-conspirators on the art team.
It is literally the entire most of the Shinkai gang here doing the stream, which is really fun. And nice to see Yuma Rankin, who is one of the key people helping us prepare for the World Championship, and we appreciate her. So
She also does all the different cool events, like
Yeah.
the different House Young gatherings that we had in Seattle and
Yeah.
LA recently. That was pretty great.
And of course, behind the scenes, Ben Fuji Watley, also at the reins of esports as well. Very grateful to work alongside him as we prepare for the for the World Championship. It's going to be amazing. The teams are incredible this year. The best. I expect it to be the best tournament we've ever had. Plus, the global unveiling of 5v5 should be.
Who are you
really
rooting
fun.
for?
Who am I rooting for?
Who are you rooting for?
I don't wanna go that far as
No?
to say,
Okay.
but I am rooting for kind of redemption stories to a certain degree, if you want to call it
Okay.
that. There are certain teams that, you know, hope to have performed better last year. There are certain teams like TSM that got right to the edge and all, you know, couldn't quite bring it home. So I always feel for those players who have, you know, been on the stage before and kind of that dream is still alive and they're trying to bring it home. But every region has their own story. I
Yeah.
mean, you have regions like Europe and South America that really feel like they have something to prove on the world stage.
I really want to see like South America like clean it up.
Yeah, you have regions like East Asia and North America that believe they're the best and want to show it. You have regions like Southeast Asia. This is their home turf. This is their home tournament. They want a great showing in Singapore. There is a home team from Singapore. Impunity is there. Shinkaigen, I believe, you know, Vainglory has been leading a crew that's been putting together some really amazing videos for the World Championship. Shin, you want to show us one of those?
Sure thing.
When the best of the best gathered for the 2016 World Championship, everyone realized that East Asia was a step above everyone else, including the vaunted North American teams.
You can't help but sit back in awe. That was just an incredible performance.
As we move to 2017 now, the question is, how much has North America learned, and are any of the teams ready to knock rocks off that mantle?
Arguably, the strongest team in the West is Cloud9. It's a team that was made up of all-stars and crafted from the very beginning of 2017 to be that best team.
And they will once more show the Western Hemisphere that they are the best at Vainglory.
Representing NA is a great honor. When it comes down to Worlds, a team or teams that I really want to go against to see who really is the best is definitely the Korean teams, Ace and Rox Armada.
If there's any team that heads into the 2017 World Championship with the confidence and the talent to back it up, it's Cloud9.
Being on top is what motivates me. But we've been performing pretty well. And, you know, we've been having a really great run so far. I just want to end it out with a win.
While even though Cloud9 is arguably the best team in the West, TSM would like to say otherwise.
TSM came so close at the 2016 World Championship, taking Rox Armada all the way to 6 games, but they came up just short.
And for TSM, look, they really did put up a good fight.
I definitely think at last World, it wasn't North America versus East Asia. It was North America versus Phoenix Armada. They were just ahead of everyone else in their own region too. But I think this season, I think it's really close between North America and East Asia now, with Ace coming in too. It's definitely a strong battle to see who's the better region.
2016 Worlds proved that East Asia was Vainglory's best region. But since then, TSM has studied their comps, studied their strategies. Now at the 2017 World Championship, we're going to see a team that is ready to take the World Championship.
Few teams have truly had the opportunity to push TSM and Cloud9 to their limits, but one of these teams is Tribe Gaming.
Initially, we didn't think we had much of a chance of going to Worlds. But when there was like even this slim opportunity, we just like took it and ran with it. Of course, Armada is the world champion, but I don't think we necessarily need to fear them, and I think we definitely can beat them.
No team performs better in a championship live setting than Tribe Gaming. Dienzio, we've seen him play his best Vainglory when it matters most.
This man has stepped up to a level that we have yet to see from him this season, and every single game he seems to get better.
Being one of the first champions ever during the 2015 autumn season, T-Tigers shows up when it counts most, and he helps Dienzio and Max Green truly carry their team to victory.
Obviously, I would really want to win, especially Worlds. Like, just winning is what really motivates me. Like, ranking, you know, it's like fun and all, but in the end, it doesn't really mean much in terms of, you know, success. No one really cares about your, like, trophy at the end of the season or etc. It's all about the results at, like, a Worlds, and that's all that matters.
look at North America.
It's super hype.
Three
I really like that video.
incredibly strong teams heading into the World Championship in Singapore. I see Tatia Ann in the chat, who's been with us all the way since the Singapore beta of Kindred. It's really, really exciting to be going to Singapore for this. And we have videos for every region. Maybe we'll show a few more videos along the way on this stream. North America, an incredibly strong region heading into the World Championship. And for those, I saw some people in the chat questioning whether Tribe should be there. I expect all questions on whether Tribe should be there to end on day one very quickly. As much respect and admiration as I have for Druid, for Mango, for PQQ, for Ingenious on Rox Armada, do not be surprised in the slightest if Tribe Gaming beats Rox Armada on day one in, I believe it's Group C. This is a team, every single championship, this is for years, 2, 3, 4 years now, every single championship in a live setting, this team simply outplays everyone else. Now, at the end of the day, will they come out as the world champions? I don't know. There's a lot of factors that go into that. How do the drafts go? How much momentum do you have? So many factors, emerging tournament metas, so many things that are hard to kind of predict. But one thing I can say with absolute certainty is that Tribe will show up and will be one of the most dangerous teams in this tournament because of how good they are in a live setting when the players are playing together on the stage.
Exactly. Each of these players, like obviously T-Tigers, all-star player all around.
Former regional champion.
Yeah, former regional champion. He's come through multiple teams, and many of these teams have won. For example, LibX back in the day, like he was part of that original roster.
High status.
And so, obviously, like, Zio he grew up in this game almost, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you can see those pictures of, there's a picture on Twitter, the before and after.
Older, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He's actually, I would argue, one of the best players in a live setting.
Yeah.
And I would definitely not sleep on Max Green. Max Green is probably one of my favorite players out there right now, and he is utterly incredible.
And for the record, Fuji and I talked at length about Max Green when we were doing those interviews. Not everything makes the final cut, but yes, much love and respect to Max Green, who is a difference-making player.
He brings that team together.
Yeah.
Like he's literally the thing that brings everything together. And so that entire roster is incredible.
All right.
And
that's just Tribe. We, of course, have the two-time unified champions in Cloud9, who it looked like they kind of took the pedal off the metal a little bit down the stretch, but in the final week, they just turned the engine right back on, and you know they're going to be ready to play when we get to Worlds. And then, of course, TSM, they have unfinished business. They know what to do, and obviously one of the favorites in the tournament.
Yeah, so that region looks incredibly strong. I look forward to their performances.
All right, we'll get into all the rest of the things. You know, we'll come back to 5v5. We'll come back to Worlds in just a minute.
To talk about some of the other regions too.
Yeah, well, let's definitely talk about the other regions. I do want to get into. We haven't talked about the skins. There are skins in update to 11. Shinkaigen, what order would you like to get into these?
We showed the Catherine one.
We showed the Catherine. Let's just recap that one.
Let's recap. That's what's called a stalling tactic.
Yeah.
Shin can't fool me. He's like, let me throw up this one as I get ready to show another one.
I love the skin. She has the scarf bag on her side. She has the minion hat, and she does a dab as she's using her stun.
She does. She dabs while she's doing Merciless Pursuit. And this is an effects-rich skin.
Yep.
When you drop Blast Tremor, it puts a Vainglory logo, a Vainglory dagger on the field.
In addition to that, when you use your Storm Guard, your bubble, like you have the emblems rotating around you, really showing like this is the world skin.
Yeah.
And of course you have your little cheering finger. Just woo.
Yeah, that's actually the most fun part of it is you have the giant foam finger and you just bop people on the nose with it.
Stunned.
It's the best.
You're stunned.
It's the best part of the skin.
You're stunned.
And that, of course, is a skin you can get absolutely free by watching the World Championship on the final day, on the Grand Finals day. And if you're not into Vainglory Esports, you can literally just tune in, watch the 5v5 matches, see the future of the game for all players, and that will qualify you if you tap through the banner in game. So you don't even have to watch any of the
Playoff.
tournament if you don't want to.
Playoff, you didn't get it. You're stunned. Okay, now we can keep going. It's a 1.2 second stun. It's not that.
Oh, jeez. All right. Thank you. That's helpful. There are more skins in Update 2.11. We do have a special edition skin for the holidays. Shinkaigen, which skin is that?
Bam.
You introduce it, Shin.
Mall Santa Rhyme.
All right. This is Mall Santa Rhyme. I have a very serious question, though. It's a question I was planning on posing on Twitter, but since we're on the stream, I will ask it here. So as cool as this skin is, and we'll get into all the things about this skin, this is a mall Santa.
I know.
So please, Nibmet, explain to me, very seriously, why is a mall Santa on the roof of someone's house? I think we made, like, bad burglar Santa rhyme. This is a burglar.
He needs to eat.
This is a burglar who is saying, hush, don't tell anyone that I am taking things from people's homes through the chimney, is the best I can tell.
Is this official lore now?
I don't know. We'd have to ask Sugar Venom about that. All I know is that it is official, that this is a mall Santa. That you go to a mall, you go to the town center, and, you know, you have the kids, they sit on Santa's lap, they take pictures. That's the kind of Santa this is. Smells like beef and cheese, sits on a throne of lies, and yet he's on the roof of someone's house. That seems nefarious to me. But Rhyme, you know, crotchety old Rhyme, he does what he wants.
I like the skin. I think that splash art is hilarious. It's so, like, like, just his expression, he was just like, shh, he just like, just didn't feel it, just like, okay.
All right, and this skin will be available right away in a special Santa Rhyme Legendary Talent Bundle, so you have a chance to get some Rhyme talents to use
This
for
is one of the
Onslaught
oldest
as well.
skins that people have requested, actually. If
Yeah.
you remember, during the original holiday season, which Rhyme was released, people were like, where's Santa Rhyme? Santa Rhyme! And the next season came around, they're like, Santa Rhyme! No, not this year. And so finally we was like, you know what, let's give them the Santa Rhyme. They've been asking for it for
Give the people what they want.
a couple of years now.
And obviously it looks like Santa. He's got the candy cane. He's got the red hat. He's got the beard. He's got the mistletoe.
His lights blink.
Glowing nose and antlers. All the blinking, the staff blinks.
Yes.
All the things.
The
What
staff
else could you
blinks.
want?
It's cool.
What else could you want in this world? All right. As I mentioned earlier, the new hero is Varia. Probably by now we have a lot of new people, so we'll probably in a little bit show the hero spotlight again. But Varia is the new hero, and she has a day one skin. She has a skin coming out the moment the update comes out. We can take a look at the art for that skin as well. Theoretically, Shinkaigen loves us.
There you go.
Shinkaigen just chilling in the back in no hurry. And all right, so it's cool. First time we've ever had a day one skin for a hero, and there will be a special discount for a bundle to get the hero and the skin at the same time.
Yep. That's
Yep.
gonna
It's an awesome skin.
It's pretty great. I'm going to be using it.
Oh, should I do the Sugar Venom bit? Ice blue fur-lined dragon mail robes, furry onion top helm, blue gladiator sandals. Available now for only $19.95, $9.99.
I don't think that's right.
12 easy installments.
I don't think Sugar Venom is a salesperson. She's a lore writer. Just saying.
She's a narrative designer.
Yes.
All right. There is, of course, also a winter map. The winter map is in for the winter season. We haven't had a seasonal map in a long time. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure there are a lot of new players who never even experienced this. Just having the whole map have a different look and feel.
It's snowing.
It's snowing. It's a lot of fun.
It's a winter.
Yeah, make sure, you know, go into a practice mode or something and use the mini map to pan around, look at all, you know, the special little Easter eggs, all the things all around the map, the snow minions in the corner, lots and lots of fun things. And
Especially loves to put it.
just gives it a different look. And the new hero Varia feels really good on this map. It's like perfect,
Especially
right
if
in
you
her
have
color
her new
motif.
skin.
Yeah, especially with the new skin. There you go. So with that,
Okay.
Also for anyone who joined us late, this is a season reset. Your rank gets your highest rank from the prior season, from autumn season, gets immortalized in your trophy case. then you get a hard reset back to 0, but you do get bonus progress. You get head start progress based on your rank the prior season, so you'll net out somewhere based on how you did, and away you go. Hope you get your highest rank ever. Same deal with your Blitz score, and then Onslaught coming in as well. So those are the things for the new season, Nivmet. I know you've been waiting to talk about the live balance stuff. Some fan favorite decisions, some controversial decisions, some interesting decisions. Before, I want to tease you just a little bit longer.
Okay.
And for anyone who's joining us late, this is not a downtime stream. The update activation is going to start soon. I'll find out precisely when the activation is going to start. But once the activation starts, you should just be able to go download it. We just wanted to come on a bit early to have a chance to talk to you guys about all of the things, and that's why we're here. Before we get into all of the balance, for all of the new people who have joined the stream since we started talking, let's take a look, Shinkaigen, if you wouldn't mind, at the Varia Hero Spotlight one more time. The brand new hero coming into the fold, the Varia Hero Spotlight. Here we go.
Not again.
Welcome to the Vainglory Hero Spotlight, featuring Varia. When the Storm Queen's need became dire, an infected raven delivered her message to the anvil. As below, so above. In response, the World Seer sent Varia, the living knowledge of lightning, to defend the Queen's empire from the churn. Varia is literally power molded into a human form, and as such, commands one of the most lethal arsenal of abilities of any mages in Vainglory. She is a hero forged to fight the elemental destruction called the Churn, and as such, wields lethal lightning that can leap between enemy heroes and leave them as shaking, burned-out husks. For those seeking to master a hero with deep tactical depth and power, Varia leads the charge. As a powerful Storm Mage, Varia's basic attacks have several unique properties. First, all of Varia's basic attacks deal bonus crystal damage, which grows with her overall level and crystal power. Second, whenever she holds her ground after performing one basic attack, her next one will strike her target and arc to 3 additional targets, dealing full damage to all of them. These kinds of basic attacks will consume some of her energy. Do you still like shocking the crap out of people? Well, good news. Buying attack speed items will decrease the delay and enable Varia to fire her chain lightning even faster. Her enemies call Varia's first ability Storm Forged Spear. When activated, Varia gathers her power, forging it into a spear of pure lightning, then hurls it at her terrified victim. This ability explodes on the first enemy hero hit, inflicting damage to all of the enemies near them. You still want to shock the crap out of people more? Well, good news, friend. Overdriving this ability increases its range, allowing her to strike more victims from even further away. They named her next ability Arc Recursion because of how complicated and archy it sounds. When you see Varia gathering her power, be very, very afraid. Arc Recursion fills a bar beneath Varia's energy bar. When she is fully charged, Varia's next 2 move commands will empower her to dash in that direction, unleashing chain lightning on crying enemies near her destination. And to add even more nightmare fuel to their troubles, Varia recovers energy and gains barrier for each enemy her power strikes. You want to shock the crap out of more people? If you overdrive Arc Recursion, the range of the dash will increase, empowering Varia to smack down even more pitiless fools. Those adversaries that live to cry about it call Varia's ultimate Anvil's Hammer. Once again, if you see Varia gathering her power, death and destruction is soon to follow, and this is all the more true for her ultimate ability. Varia charges, gathering the sheer fury of all storms before literally unleashing terrifying lightning strikes on all enemy heroes, no matter where they may be on the battlefield. Upgrading this ability increases the impact radius of these lightning strikes, making it even harder for those still living to crawl for cover. You still want to shock the crap out of more people? Well, good news, friend. Each rank of Anvil's hammer permanently increases Varia's attack speed, as well as the number of additional targets Chain Lightning and Stormforged Spear will hit. Varia's abilities have significant cast times, but can be weaved together to form lightning-quick combos. For instance, Varia can activate her Stormforged Spear at any point during Arc Recursion. Use it during the initial channel time to throw the spear and still be able to follow it up with 2 dashes. Cast Stormforged Spear after the first dash of Arc Recursion, allowing Varia to dash back to safety after it's fired. Varia can also cast skills before her ultimate is finished channeling, allowing her to attack or get into position much sooner. Using Anvil's hammer is a great way to start off a team fight and can force the enemies into making bad decisions. In this clip, Varia casts her ultimate safely outside of the team fight. Then, as the lightning bolts rain down from the sky, she makes her move on the enemy Gwen. If Gwen stands to fight Varia, she will probably get hit by the incoming blasts. However, getting away from Varia isn't easy. She'd have to dodge the lightning strike directed at her and try not to run into the lightning strikes targeting her ally. Gwen chooses to flee, but Varia takes advantage of the chaos. She casts Stormforged Spear, followed by a Chain Lightning too quickly to finish off Gwen. Then, with only Arden left on the enemy team, Varia and friends quickly finish him off for the ace. Knowing when to fully charge Arc Recursion can be the difference between victory and getting your face smashed. Here, Varia is collapsed upon by the entire enemy team. Facing certain death, she begins to channel Arc Recursion and waits until it is fully charged before dashing and hitting the enemy twice, granting double the barrier. The second dash allows her to reposition herself far enough away to fire a Stormforged Spear and a series of Chain Lightnings to take out the Rona. With the Berserker out of the way, they're able to turn their attention onto the Reza and send him crying back to the Netherworld. Varia's quick thinking allowed her to not only escape with her life, but pick up 2 kills and win the team fight. Thanks for watching the Varia Vainglory Spotlight. Make sure to check out Varia's lore for more about her origins.
All right, and we're back. I'm Playoff Beard, still here with Nivmet. The team is getting very close to the activation of Update 2.11. In the final QA, they noticed something that they didn't feel 100% on, so they wanted to go ahead and correct that before the activation just to ensure that no players have any issues. Sounding maybe, about 15, maybe 30 minutes before they pull the trigger on the activation, but once they pull the trigger on the activation, should be no downtime at all. You should just be able to play, so, you can play now, and you should be able to play 2.11 without any interruption, which is pretty awesome, but we're taking this opportunity to talk about all the things, to talk about Varia. If for just real quick before we get into the balance changes, for anyone who missed the beginning of the stream, Nivmet, could you just do a quick summary how you think people should think about Varia, why you're excited about Varia?
So Varia has 2 build paths. She has a poke and an auto tech build path.
Might want to bring this a little closer.
Oh, sorry. Which I think the auto tech path will be her more predominant path.
Oh, he's still muted. Remember that time when you hit the thing? Then you didn't remember to hit the thing again?
Well.
So what he just was talking so much trash about Shin. He was saying how he is the most preposterous person.
This is how these things start.
And how he just walks around telling everyone how he's a world champion and just shoving the skin in people's faces.
Wow.
And
just slander and lies.
He just walks around. I'm just paraphrasing what Nimmet said while he was muted. Walks around just going world champion to everyone who will listen.
There. He could have heard me.
No. I mean, you were muted. No one could. So Shin's a little upset with you, I'm told.
Shin, let's have words with Playoff Beard later.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
And if Chainsaw, if you're watching, feel free to swing by at your convenience. So I'll drop him a line as well. We'll get him over here as well.
Okay.
But real quickly on Varia, unmuted.
So there's 2 paths you really want to look into her. Is an auto tech build, which with alternating current, and a poke build with clockwork. Both of these builds work beautifully. They're very... You may want to use some builds in some scenarios. There are multiple options for her, right? But something to really note, people were talking in chat about her mobility. That B is not as available as people think. It has actually a substantial cooldown. over 20 seconds, that goes down to like 15, right? It's a very long cooldown. You get 1, maybe 2 uses in a fight with it. And so for people wondering how they're going to take her, a lot of heroes with strong gap closers, Taka, Reza, Blackfeather, these are great picks into her. People who first pick her need to be very careful.
Does she still feel like kind of that squishy backline mage?
Yes. And so she can use her B aggressively to try, like, the radius around her, she has to actually dash pretty aggressively to get the barrier. So she can choose to do that, but she has to make a play. She's making the play right there to do something and hopefully killing them, or, you know, making, like, doing some sort of action that will save her life before they kill her, right? So it is not as free as it looks. There are a lot of heroes who do very well into her, but I think where she really shines, her wave clear is actually one of the best in the game. That Arc Lightning is incredible at clearing waves. She does particularly well into sort of like not like teams that are more clumped together. While the Chain Lightning can arc, the arc range I think is like 5. So if like you're up against a Vox, you'll do pretty well, because it will arc through his team to him as well. But if, like, let's say you're up against a Baron, yeah, you probably won't do so hot, and because you're not going to be able to get any damage on him very easily. In that scenario, you may actually want to go for the poke build, because now you'll outrange him versus the other way around. So okay, that's about it.
All right, I've tortured you long enough. You've been waiting and wanting to get into all of the live balance changes. Should we do it? Should we talk about the balance changes in 2.11?
No, I'm done now. I got over it.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to stall any longer, I have some cool stuff to show first.
Oh, shit. What do you want to show, man?
Just to make Niv wait out a little bit
nice.
longer.
Do it.
I'm chill.
Let's see.
I'm not what they call a people person.
All Santa Ryan.
Show out! Isn't that what your kids say?
Okay, there he is in game. It's full Santa Ryan. Looks like he hurt his back there. Yeah, sorry to hear that. This is the first time we've had a skin for Varia upon
Halcyon shimmers in my
now, there
veins.
is World Championship
Before or else, be well armed.
The final day, the grand finals day of the World Championship. You saw the dagger.
I love that ult.
Drop there. Wow, this is a quick video. In and out.
Yeah, that was really fast.
It was a very quick teaser.
Okay. Okay, so might as well move to balance finally. So we're now in off season, guys. Like this 2.11 is not Worlds patch. This is officially off season.
Right. So update. The World Championship will be on update 2.10.
Correct.
Okay.
And so with this, that means we can try some funner, more wacky things. For example, 2.11, I decided I was going to try and bring back a lot of the secondary paths who had really fallen off. Weapon Arden, CP Jewel, CP Vox, Weapon Sky. A lot of these heroes are getting love to their secondary paths to really like flex them up a bit. I want to give them those choices, right? And so from there, if you go through this list, there's obviously some major balance changes for heroes that are quite popular right now. Alpha, for example. Alpha has finally broken back into the competitive scene a couple patches ago. She's seeing play again. But, we can tune her a little. So, first off, with the energy changes, she was pretty awesome, but it was getting too easy to reach that energy recharge rate. So, we've made it so there's a minimum amount of, the minimum reboot time was 2 seconds before. Now it's 2.5. This is going to give people more opportunity to kill Alpha during her reboot phase. Prime directive, damage is down. So you're not I see a lot of people starting off with this double crystal bit start, getting 3 charges and aiming into the enemy team, and you've won the level 2 fight, right? This you won't be able to do that anymore. Well, I mean, you can, it just won't be as devastating anymore. So you're still gonna do a lot of damage with her A if you fully stack it, but it's it's taking a hit. Arden, top support for a long time. Arden is one of my favorites, right? I have a soft spot for the guy. course, it doesn't affect my choices when it comes to balance. I'm actually.
It doesn't matter at all that he pairs really well with Taka, your main.
Actually, I don't particularly like. I mean, the pairing goes okay, but I would pair it preferably with like a Grace. That's actually my favorite pairing, because she just makes me almost invulnerable for like 4 seconds.
There you go.
Anyways, Arden. So we've reduced his health a bit. Arden's been a top pick this last couple patches, right? Health changes were really kind to him. So what we did is we lowered his health a bit. That's gonna make him a little bit squishier. He can't just run into the enemy team as much anymore. His blood for blood damage is down until you overdrive it. But we've buffed the overdrive, so now weapon Ardents who now overdrive their blood for blood first are gonna find, boom! I'm hitting so much harder. This is great. All right. Gauntlet. Would you like to talk about this one?
Would you like me to talk about it?
I actually
sure,
want you to talk about this one.
You want me to talk about Gauntlet? All right. So Gauntlet, I'm sorry to any of you out there who may be disappointed to learn that starting in Update 2.11, when you drop a Gauntlet, you echo that Gauntlet, you drop the second Gauntlet, you will no longer get the crazy Venn diagrams of Doom. The first Gauntlet will disappear when you drop the second Gauntlet. There's multiple reasons for this. The first is performance. That you have to keep in mind. That means in a casual game, you could have as many as 4 gauntlets on the screen at once. This will melt and explode even some good devices out there. And we want to make sure all players are having a good experience with Vainglory. So it was an important thing to do in terms of making sure, you know, our game can do it, obviously, but some devices will struggle under those conditions. And so we wanted to do it for that reason. But that was really the secondary reason. The primary reason was because of the impact it had on team fights themselves, which ultimately, collectively, we felt, you felt, Zken felt, was just pretty unhealthy for the game to have gauntlets multiple gauntlets carve the team fight up into such tiny slivers and pieces that there are not enough reflex blocks in the world, not enough crucibles in the world to be able to deal with all of this. You're getting stunned, you try to move, you get stunned again, you try to move, you get stunned again. It just, at the end of the day, it was cool for the player dropping the multiple gauntlets and potentially up to 4 gauntlets at once, but for everyone else, it was mostly frustrating. And ultimately, when we looked at that, performance thing alone was a consideration. But once you combined that with the frustration factor for the players in team fights, we felt like it wasn't healthy for the game, so we took it out.
Okay. Scroll down.
Oh, you're just trying to put that on me. Oh, I see what he was doing here. He just wants people to associate this change with me. I would remind everyone that Playoff Beard is not a live balance designer for Vainglory, had 0 impact on this decision. That would be something that Nivmet and Zkent would be making the decision on. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, he is at Nivmet on Twitter, easily findable on Discord and all the things. And I would encourage you to follow up with Nivmet on the change, as Playoff Beard has no influence on live balance whatsoever.
Okay, so moving on.
Moving on. All right, let's do one more, and then we have a special guest, and then we'll come back to the rest of the balance changes. What's one more you want to do?
I would rather just keep them in order. That way.
Let's keep them in order.
So Baron would be the next one in order. So we're seeing a lot of CP Baron finally popping up, right? It's pretty great. He's never seen play before this patch. A lot of things have led up to this. The changes to his jump on the CP path, the energy changes to items, like actually make it possible for this hero to finally see play at blue. And so, but
Blue Baron, guys, it's a thing. It's amazing.
It's actually
finally
a
thing.
But what we're seeing is a lot of comps will just run really heavy CC oriented comps. They'll run like Lyra and Lance together with Baron, and they'll lock you down. They'll make sure you can't move, and Baron just rains unholy amounts of damage on you.
The trade-off was always blue was strong, but it was really unreliable. It was really hard to hit those mortars.
But now that you have good escapability, the energy to spam, and because of the CC, your skills are now reliable, the combination of things is just a little bit much. So we've lowered the damage on his A a little bit. we've shaved off a good 20% CP ratio off of it. This is going to make it so you can still do those comps, you can still play CP Baron, he's still viable, but you're not going to just explode people as quickly as before. We did give him a little bit something to compensate. CP Baron has a huge combo factor, if you may. Like, you really want to throw everything up like into the air, and the spectacular landing that when everything comes down is great. Yeah. So we actually reduced the cooldown on Ion Cannon a bit, especially at all levels, I believe. So this change essentially is going to let him do his, big combo move, especially with Clockwork. He'll be able to get that back even faster. He goes down to like a 50-second cooldown. You may, in a longer fight, be able to get 2 off, but very unlikely. But, yep.
All right, so that is Baron. Shin, don't leave me. Shin, don't leave me. We needed to make a transition. Okay. Go back. The wrong moment, Shin. Shin, don't leave the booth now.
So
wrong time. All right.
We're going to get Chainsaw in here to talk about the inspiration behind Varia.
Special guest.
Yes, Chainsaw.
We're going to not say who it was yet.
But
you said
I'm saying
Oh my goodness, stealing your thunder. Ah.
Stealing the thunder. That's right.
Oh, the lightning. The thunder and the lightning.
He's going to come on. He's going to talk about Varia, the inspiration. I've talked to him a little bit yesterday about it. It was amazing. I can't wait for him to tell you these stories.
I love that.
So,
Shin, can you pull up the Varia skin art?
So
we can make a comfortable, smooth transition? Thank you. Now get out of the chair.
Okay. Okay, playoff. Just returning the favor, I know.
All right. This, of course, is Varia. And now, welcoming in, Nivmet will stand by if you want to hear the rest of the balance changes. They are coming up. But we welcome in now one of my favorite guests of all time. It is, of course, Super Evil Megacorp's art director and influences really every corner and crevice. And there's nothing in this game that he doesn't touch. This is, of course, Chainsaw.
Hey, guys. I'm really excited to bring this new hero to you guys. A lot of times when we're making heroes, it comes from a very inspirational point of view. We found that if you sat around and you thought too much, you might be missing out on what the players are dreaming of, right? And that's sort of our job as the creators. Myself and Ciderhelm. It's about finding that little sort of core thing. With with Scarf, for example, it was about one of the animators going, "Please, can I have a baby dragon, please?" for like 6 months in my ear, and then we finally decided to do it. In the case of Varia, I used to play a lot of Diablo 2, and I was always like, I love Chain Lightning. I love Chain Lightning. So I was bugging. I was bugging. Cider for a long time, going. We should make a Chain Lightning hero. It should be a Chain Lightning hero, right? And getting close to thinking about what we were going to release around Christmas time, he finally comes to me, and this is after 2 years of me whispering in his ear. And he goes, "How do you feel about a Lightning Mage?" And I went, "Does it have Chain Lightning?" And he says, "It will have a lot of Chain Lightning." And so having a core theme really helps out in bringing out the fantasy of this character. And I get into a lot of trouble, People will yell at me here at work about, "You need to be responsible. You need to think about this." Because I'll do crazy stuff. But that's my job. That's how we manage to have innovation. That's how we manage to pump these guys out in 6 5-week cycles compared to, other people in the industry who might take, 2 years to develop a particular hero. And in this case, when we're creating heroes, oftentimes you want to represent the source of power of the hero very plainly, In the case of Rona, for example, she's got the double axes. Of course, Celeste has her staff, and then we have Lyra's book. When you see Blackfeather's sword, you kind of know what he's about, right? Because it's important for not only your teammates and for you picking the character on being clear what the source of power is, it's particularly important for your opponent because that expectation helps out in how you're going to perceive gameplay. So in this case, when I first drew her and I first designed her, Captain Nito comes in and he's all, "Where's her source of power?" I'm all, "She's the source of power," and he didn't like it. You know, he was like, "Come on, man, we gotta, she's got to have a staff or something. She's a mage." I'm like, "No, she plays like a mage. She's not a mage." He's like, "What is he?" "She's a superhero," you know, and he goes, "But you need to have a source of power." "No, the lightning bolt is the source of power." "No, that's the spell." "No, it's the source of power. She's gonna walk around. She's gonna walk around with a lightning bolt. I promise you, it's gonna feel good." So that's the sort of stuff that happens around here when we're creating this thing. And then I knew it when, anytime I hear Nivmet like giggling during a playtest or yelling at people, I know the hero's probably good, and all we need to do is balance the numbers. And that's kind of what happened with him.
That's true. You really do hear it.
Like, I just kind of like have to listen, and as soon as I hear Nivmet screaming and laughing at people, I know it's right,
Something is okay.
Yeah.
It's true. And so players were asking about the process of bringing the hero to being, the choices that are made from the name to the animations to the effects. Is there anything you can talk to us about kind of under the hood, that process that happens?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I sort of given you guys the genesis of this already, in that you have to start with a very grokkable concept, like a very understandable concept that, that someone immediately gets and is inspirational. And that starts to drive the engine. That starts to get other people at work inspired. This is a very natural, organic method here at Super Evil. We don't try to force the issues for the most part, because it's really important that the other people working on any particular hero really love the hero, so they'll make correct choices. So after the initial inspiration, usually a kit is built. Sometimes the kit is first, right? And then I'll do a concept, and I start thinking of it in terms of, am I expressing the idea clearly, right? With as few pieces of complicated filigree as possible, because it makes it really important for anyone playing the hero to understand the hero if it's nice and clear. So I remove any sort of extraneous things that I think are distracting, and I design this thing and try to keep it pure. And then it goes back to the designer. So in this case, it would be Ciderhelm, and then we would have conversations about whether or not it's successful a little bit, and then I kind of process it. And once we agree on a particular design, it then goes out to a modeler, and they build it. And then the model itself, once it's built, it has to function well for the animators, because a lot of people, when they do designs, they only just think of the shape of the design. They don't think that the shape of the design is also the animation, right? The clear positions that she's in and the things that she does, that's part of the silhouette. It's not simply what I draw. I have to be able to give room and see the positions she might be in, so that, again, good decisions are made. Then we go through playtests, and usually we have like temporary effects going on, and the effects have to have the correct timing so the gameplay feels good. And at first, they'll use generic effects that we already have built, and just to see whether or not a particular ability is viable. But that has to be quickly replaced with temporary effects that have the correct timing, so that when you're playing it, it feels right, and you're able to give, and by you, I mean the people playtesting it, give good feedback to the developers on whether or not something is successful. And after that, we just kind of make sure that the actual kit that we worked on is still working. It's always good to ask yourself, did the stuff we did right at the beginning, does it still hold true and correct, right? And that's the whole company in general, and not just the heroes that we're making. Once we feel good about that, we polish all the animations, and we polish all of the effects, and we start tuning the numbers. And it's at the end, it's kind of a mad dash to make sure that this hero is solid but not toxic, right? Because it has to feel good, but it can't destroy the ecosystem of the meta. So a lot of pressures on Nivmet usually towards the end there, and everyone's yelling at him. At the beginning, everyone yells at me, but at the end, usually people are yelling at Nivmet.
Hey, Shin, is there any chance that we could show the hero spotlight but leave the sound off so that Chainsaw can talk through some of what we're seeing? I think that would be really great. And as we get into that, you know, it's interesting. Every hero is different, but like on this hero, the process that the animators go through, I saw that it looked like someone had actually gone out to the parking lot and thrown some javelins to get the kind of right body positions and physics around. Brought that back into the studio. And as we take a look, anything you want to talk about in terms of the design of the hero, the layout of the hero.
Yeah, we can talk about the animation a little bit. I mean, you know, we often have the animators out there miming the activities of the heroes because they want to get it right. Yeah, we did that on Varia. That's actually an old school thing that we did way back in the day on Ringo, where I was filming Jerome from the second floor just to get Ringo's drunken walk correctly. And we wanted to get it into the right angle. So here at Varia, you'll see that she's got the kind of symbolism and semiotics of a Valkyrie, right? One of Odin's chosen, which is the choosers of the dead. And I wanted to make her feel that she was an elemental power, the idea of this feminine idea of power and lightning. And you know, you can kind of see it on the lightning bolt shape of the wings on her helmet. And I wanted also a lot of contrast between the effect itself and the character, and that's why the character is wearing a lot of dark. You know, if I did a lot of colors, and even when I did the lighter color, for example, the winter color, it's still relatively monochromatic because it's going to be about that effect. And you can see right now, if you watch the timing of the particular effects that are coming out of her hand, it's tuned so that it feels good when you're playing, right? So it allows you, when you're doing your stutter stepping and a bunch of other things, to have good feedback. And that comes from the fact that we have effects and animator guys that have worked on things like fighting games. And that one little innovation helps make our game more responsive than our competition, which feels sometimes a little bit like molasses, even if they have a good gameplay.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And while I have you here, I would be completely remiss to not bring up, you know, probably the most major project that you've been working on, leading elements of since the launch of the game itself, and that is Vainglory 5v5.
Yes.
Can you talk to me just a little bit about how you're feeling about how that's coming together?
Oh, 5v5 is really coming together now. I can't wait till you guys see the environments that we've created and the new, you know, capturable boss that we have working on for 5v5. You know, we were able to achieve this in a relatively short amount of time with very few people, and that just speaks to the craft and quality of the people working here at Super Evil. And I've been on a bunch of different projects, but this is the most fun that I've had. Because there's very little between us, the developers, and you guys, the players. I mean, we don't have kind of the sort of publishing partnerships that other video games have. So we have the ability to listen to you guys and to really feel it out. And man, I can't wait. We have a nice little reveal about it that we'll be showing in a couple weeks. But it was amazing. It's just, let me just say, it's stuff that you guys have been asking for. But the environment itself is quite large. There's cool objectives. And, you know, you got 5 heroes. I mean, you can imagine how much stuff is blowing up on screen right now with Varia. But with 5 heroes blowing stuff up, holy moly.
All right, so with that, Chainsaw, we're going to have a lot more updates, coming out in the days and weeks ahead on 5v5.
For sure.
We're going to have the global unveiling of 5v5 in Singapore.
That's right, and I'm going to be there, guys.
And that's really part of everything coming full circle because you were there, back all the way to the Kindred Beta days. You did a tour through Southeast Asia.
That's right.
In the very beginning. It's got to feel cool for it to kind of all come back around.
When we first opened over in Singapore, I showed up, because I had some students that was going to be teaching in Singapore, and I just kind of sent out a message to the community. It's like, hey, Singapore fans, I'm gonna be there. You guys want to hang out? So like, the Singapore community showed up, and we were all playing VG in my hotel room. It was great.
Yeah, and the pictures of that, and here we are, the World Championship coming to Singapore, 5v5 being revealed in Singapore. It really is kind of a homecoming for the game. It's a pretty exciting moment. And,
yeah, I can't wait. And thanks for the fun ride, guys.
Yeah, so let's put Chainsaw back on the screen if we could. For anyone who didn't get a chance to see, this is, of course, our art director, Chainsaw. Thank you for the insight. If you'd be so kind, maybe we'll do a couple more special things leading up to the worldwide release of 5v5. It's going to be exciting.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. I have to get back and make sure that we deliver that 5v5 for you.
Yeah, and thank you, obviously, everyone. You can tell what great hands the game is in. Getting a little bit of insight from Chainsaw, it's always a pleasure.
These are senpai hands.
Those aren't small. Those aren't small. Help on the iPad Pro too, I'm sure. All right. So with that, how about Shin? Let's transition perhaps by taking a look at another one of the Vainglory World Championship regional spotlights, and we can talk a little bit more. And we still have NivMet coming back to talk about the rest of the live balance changes. Thank you so much, Chainsaw.
Thank you.
It's a privilege to have you. Let's take a look at another region now.
Bye.
That was
East Asia is the most dominant region in Vainglory currently, and while other regions really want to challenge this, it is up to those regions to truly show they have caught up to the Koreans.
Rox Armada, they are the 2016 Vainglory World Champions, and to be the best, you have to beat the best.
This is the team everyone knows about and is afraid of.
Rox Armada's Druid, he is the best player in the world.
And if you're able to give him the farm, if you're able to focus it in and make sure the utility on your team is there to help protect him, and Druid will carry you. He is the best player in the world for a reason.
Druid finds one more. Druid is a monster.
팀이 사실 지금 스크린 성적이 굉장히 좋아요. 그리고 제가 생각했을 때는 거의 약점이 없다고 생각합니다.
No one out-farms Druid, no one outplays Druid, and no one out-rotates Rox Armada. And if anyone wants to argue with that, first you have to beat them. They're the reigning world champions, knock them down, and then you can make your claim. If anyone is ultimately going to beat the 2016 world champions, it's likely Ace Gaming, the team that knows them best.
저희는 아까 앞서 얘기했듯이 특별히 준비한다기보다는 기존에 저희가 해오던 것을 다듬는 방식으로 되게 준비를 많이 했고요. 저희가 이제 평소랑 이제 다르지 않게 실수하지 않고 평소처럼만 하면은 쉽게 이길 거라고 생각합니다.
They came together super strong and actually dethroned Rox for a position to come to Worlds. So even though Rox was able to win one of the seasons to land their spot in the 2017 championship, Ace did not make it easy.
They earned the right to be at Worlds by becoming the East Asia Summer Champions.
Creation, Tassa, and Scarshield make up this team. A dominant team that really wants to showcase that they are the best.
This team has risen to the top of East Asia's Vainglory 8, and they are a powerful force here at the 2017 World Championship.
When we think about East Asia, of course, Ace Gaming and Rox Armada come to mind, but there is another team, in fact, that's been shaking things up over there, and that's Detonation Gaming.
Detonation Gaming is the best team out of Japan, and the only thing that has prevented them from winning a regional championship is being stuck behind Ace Gaming and Rox Armada. This is a team you cannot underestimate.
And with enough practice, especially in the East Asian region, they're just getting better and better. Even taking entire weekends off of some of these teams like Rox and Ace.
そうですね、非常に今 一番仕上がってきている状態でいい成績を残せると思います。
They are one of the favorites at the 2017 World Championship, and they've been playing together for over a year. They have the experience, they have the synergy, they have the talent, they have the ability to dominate.
Coming out of East Asia, they are the wild card. And while they weren't able to topple the two Korean giants in Ace and Rocks, they are still going to be at Worlds this year. And Vivaquiz, Tatsuki, and Viva Royale are really going to make sure that they make a mark.
As we move to 2017 now, the question is, after seeing how dominant ROX Armada can be, are any of the teams ready to knock ROX off that mantle now?
Update to 11 right now. If you can't, or if you want to continue hanging out, then you should do so. What's up, Shin?
As a heads up, I may have had you muted for the last since we came back.
Because you are so troll.
And by May, I mean definitely had you muted.
All right, Shin, I see. I see how it is. All right, we're gonna hit the rewind button.
What were you saying? I said about Shinkaigen. Who actually said it?
All right, we're gonna try this again. Hello, I'm Playoff Beard. This is Nimnet. Back with you. And if you are joining us late, I have an update for you. First, I believe we said East Asia region, incredibly strong. Excited for the 2017 Vainglory World Championship coming December 14th through the 17th live from Singapore. Also the global unveiling of Vainglory 5v5. It's going to be incredible. All your favorite casters, all your favorite teams, all your favorite players. Lots of updates, lots of surprises, lots of Shinkaigen, and you should watch that. But after that...
You don't breathe when you're doing that, do you?
You have to breathe into the belly.
Okay, so you take a deep breath.
Take a belly breath, and then away you go. The
Okay.
Humanist can show you how to do it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, Humanist.
Humanist, of course, and Humanist is going to cast the 5v5 game.
Yes, he will
It's
be
gonna
casting
high.
5v5.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be amazing.
All right. So now that you can hear me, if you are in North America, if you are in Europe, if you are in South America, you can now go play. If you're in East Asia, you can now go play Update 2.11. It is live. It is activated. You should be able to go to the App Store, download it, play it, and away you go. If you are in China or Southeast Asia, they saw something in the War Room that they weren't quite satisfied with, so they've taken those regions into downtime to make sure that when they release in those regions that the stability, the quality, everything is where it needs to be. I know it feels not good in the beginning, but much better to take an hour of downtime now than deal with lots of issues after it's released. So that is the current state of affairs. If you're in Southeast Asia or if you just want to hang out with us for the rest of the stream, hear the insight from Nivmet, feel free to stick around. So no downtime, just fight in most places. No fear, just fight in the rest of the places. And we'll hang out with you until such time as we are live wherever you are. So with that, Nivmet, we have... there's a note from Nightwalker here I do want to mention.
No audio.
No audio. Yeah, that's why I should just keep the message from Nightwalker up at all times. clarify, golden tickets are not in chests starting today. Thank you, Nightwalker. That's an important point. So golden tickets will begin. No, they are. I thought they were. Or is it the 17th?
The loot chest, the specific holiday chest, is not until the 17th.
Yeah, the holiday chest is not until the 17th. I believe that you can complete quests and the golden tickets will start dropping right away.
Oh.
I believe. I'll get clarification on that, and away we go. There's a chance it might not be until after the World Championship, but I thought that that wasn't the case. So we'll get a clarification on that. And with that, while we get the clarification on that, maybe you can talk about some more balance things.
Sure.
And I will actually bring up. All right, so maybe I'll show you enough to start talking, and then I'll go seek out that clarification.
Okay, so Batiste gave him a slight tune down. Batiste has been particularly great with the new clockwork change. Ordain is coming up far more than it was originally intended. Clockwork has always been a core item on him, and so with the frequency of his abilities, his skills are coming off cooldown a little bit too fast. And so to compensate for this, we have increased the cooldown of his Ordained by a second. It's nothing crazy, just enough to sort of bring it back in line to, it's a percentage.
All right, I'm wrong. It is after the World Championship. So immediately following the World Championship on December 17, that is when you can get a golden ticket anytime you complete a quest. So quests beginning December 17 is when you might find a golden ticket in the chest. So, obviously quests can still get you a bunch of stuff. That's why I should never doubt Nightwalker. Nightwalker's much smarter than me. So anything Nightwalker says, we go with that. That will be the correct answer, including no audio.
Yeah.
Now there's audio.
No audio.
I hope there's audio now.
Me too.
All right. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You're talking about Batiste.
Shin, is there audio?
There's probably audio.
Just making sure.
All right. Batiste, Blackfeather.
Blackfeather. So this Blackfeather change, Blackfeather's in a much better spot than where he was before. But with the buff that we're giving to Serpent's Mask, is getting a little bit extra survivability and damage. To compensate, we're taking a little bit off of that health ratio of his on his B, so he gets a bit less barrier. Excuse me.
And that's when you would use the button down there.
Yeah, but I can't reach the button that quickly. I have to do this like it's like
we should put it where you can hit it.
I didn't put it there.
This is a strange conversation.
Whoever set this up was awful at it.
You just called Shin awful.
For the record, I did not do that.
Okay, I was about to say, I don't think he did that. Okay, so next one, Celeste. So this change, people may be going like, why is this happening? Well, this one is actually...
Is that the voice of the players?
It was an expression.
How do they sound again?
No, we're moving on from here. So
why is this happening?
No. Right. Anyway, so Supernova crystal ratio is coming down a bit. So the reason for this is there's two reasons. One, Celeste has been a pretty amazing powerhouse in this last patch, especially with the clockwork changes to energy. She's able to drop Helios everywhere, without any worry to her energy, which is great. It allows her to set up those star fields that really make it feel like you're creating a zoning, star mage that just creates massive supernovas on command. But in addition to that, this change is also due to the change to Dragon's Eye. Dragon's Eye, I might as well mention it now. Dragon's Eye has been, shifted up a bit. It now will work like old Broken Myth in terms of stacking. So now, when you're in combat, you're gaining 1 stack per second as before. Maximum 12 stacks now instead of 9, but you get a little bit less CP. So it evens out once it hits max. But when it starts to decay, it first off starts to decay after 4 seconds instead of 3, and you only lose 1 stack a second now instead of 3. So Dragon's Eye was a great item, but only a few heroes were able to use it. Right? You saw Rhyme and Alpha, who were incredibly popular for a bit, being able to use it. Ozo saw some play, and he got to use it. So these heroes who stick to the fight really well were benefiting from this item, but no one else could use it. Now the problem with that is that this item is needed for closing out fights. Hey, Fuji.
Come say hi. Here, I'll give up my spot because you guys can have a deeper conversation about lie balance without me.
I actually have
Here.
a meeting.
Oh yeah.
I have a meeting.
Your meeting is right here.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not right here.
Put
Here,
it
I'll
on.
say
Put
hello.
it on. This is your meeting.
This is my meeting.
You're all the people. All the Vainglory community is your meeting.
Hi, Vainglory community.
Yeah, I'll get out of your way.
Oh God. All right. I only have a couple of minutes. I only have a couple of minutes.
Couple of minutes. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
RIP esports.
RIP esports. That's right. This is the most crucial moment, and we're losing it. We're losing all the progress. So what were we talking about?
I was talking currently about Dragon's Eye and how it's been shifted to better suit all CP heroes now, which CP heroes were having an issue of closing out fights before. And now with the new changes to Dragon's Eye, they'll be able to stack, especially mages, will be able to stack it easier as well as be able to maintain their stacks easier.
True.
So
I like it.
Yeah. So this is the reason for Celeste's nerf, tuning.
Tuning. We don't use that term. Is that a bad term now?
Apparently, people don't like that term for some reason.
Don't nerf my hero. Just tune it.
Yes. So it's just finely tuned.
Fine tuning. All
Yes.
right. So it's tuning to the next level.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
So Flicker got a little bit more love. We are constantly giving this little guy love every patch. Flicker players, it's just like Christmas every patch, I feel like. Something new.
I mean, I would like to see Flicker back into the meta, right? Like, he's kind of tough. So in a team setting, he definitely can work.
Yeah.
But he's not one of the captains that's, like, easy to pull off, right? He's very team reliant. So I feel like there are other heroes in the meta right now, like Arden, that are just, like, if things get a little, like, hairy, you could just Vanguard out. You can just ult. Like, there's not as many situations you can't get out of.
You have to also be careful with Flicker, because Flicker is, while a lot of fun, can be on the frustrating side of the receiving end of him.
Yeah.
So he's, if he's a bit too strong, he can run into the opponent's jungle, steal their things from them while they're taking it. Like, literally just walk up and take it from them, and then duck into a bush and be gone before they can respond to him. Like, so you have to be this. You have to care. This is not one that I want to just be like, yeah, let's crank it up to 11.
Yeah.
Like, you really gotta like tune it carefully.
As you do with most heroes that have invisibility. Mechanics, it can be really fun if you're playing the hero.
Yeah. But it's something you got to be very careful with. But essentially, what the buff is the time it takes before you stealth when he ults has been cut down by a third. So when he does his, if he throws his lantern into the air and little pixies appear above everybody, that it takes 1.2 seconds usually to stealth. Now it only takes 0.8. So this will allow you to use it actually in combat a little bit easier. It'll allow you to be like, okay, I'm stealthing. Boom, we're all stealth. Let's go. Like
that's good.
It's definitely a good quality of life that will have gameplay impact.
Yeah, I think so. It'll allow them to get like between areas on the map much more efficiently too. I mean, once you clear out vision and they like between the time of them being able to put down new vision and your ability to kind of maneuver to a new spot and go unseen, I think it's going to be pretty nice. Combined with the buff. Buff is still a good term, right? We're still allowed to say that.
Yeah, we're great to say buff.
We either buff or we tune heroes now.
Or fine tune.
Or fine tune. Or we take a Nerf bat and just cronk someone over the head. Your time in the meta is done.
Take a seat. So yeah, but like, another thing that's sort of important is when you break stealth, you can actually re-stealth with his ult, right? So this actually allows you to re-stealth much more easy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up when I was mentioning the buff from before. That was a big change, right?
Yeah,
like being able to go back into stealth, and especially for your allies that like you ultimate, they accidentally like auto attack something and come out, and it was just like, oh man, like now our plan is foiled. No surprise anymore. I hit the treant instead of just tapping to move around the map. So yeah, well we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, Flicker obviously he played a pretty big part in some of the Worlds games last year, And even though this is technically 2.11, I'm still hoping one day we'll see him again because it's so exciting to watch from a spectator point of view. But if you're playing it at the same time, it's like if you get motivated on the other side of the equation, it's all of a sudden it's like now we have this hero. I can turn my entire team invisible. I can just be the most annoying early game presence on the map when people don't have scouts and flares readily available. But
with actually really high base damages as well.
Yeah.
And he's actually one of our tankiest base stat heroes now, as of the changes to 2.9. He's, I believe, number 4, I want to say.
Okay.
So
not too shabby, Flicker. Well done.
Yeah. So moving on, Glaive. He's bulked up a bit again. He's now in the higher ups of our tankier bruisers. Hopefully this change will pull him exactly back where he wants to be. Glaive, he's got a lot in his kit, but almost all of that falls away to Afterburn, right? Like, it's just what, like, you have this skill. So this stats is not only going to help his weapon path, stay in the fight longer, but it's going to help his support path actually come back, potentially.
Okay.
Because we squished him up a little bit in 2.9. Support Glaive completely fell out because he was too squishy to stay in the fight. Now he's able to stick in a bit better.
I dig it.
Playoff really did just leave you.
Just bailed on me.
Yeah.
Just staying just slightly out of sight, so I can't.
I think I see his shadow.
Yeah, I can see his shadow over there.
Yeah.
He'll be back soon. Don't worry, everybody. For every minute that I'm here spending time with you, it's just a minute lost on creating the best 2018 competitive season around. I'm just being dramatic. It's not that bad, but just the last point on Glaive really quick. So
he's been one of your favorites for a long time, right?
Glaive has always been a favorite because he's a playmaking hero. Like, he literally is the difference maker when you have the right person on him, whether like the afterburn to reposition, to pick off someone, to kind of follow up. I mean, we went through a cooldown Glaive meta not too long ago where his afterburn's up every 5 seconds, 5 to 6 seconds with clock. Like, it's just the fact that we've also tuned some of the items and how they work. I'm curious if he's tanky enough to be back in the meta, exactly where he might fall again. Will he be on the weapon path? Will he be on that kind of cooldown disruptor path?
With new clockwork?
Yeah, the new clockwork is pretty insane. So, I mean, that whole aftershock clockwork combo you see on these kind of melee assassins could potentially still work for Glaive. He still does make a pretty good kind of pitch for that item path for himself. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's been one of your favorite Reza builds from...
Oh, yes, Reza. If you're not playing Reza with Aftershock, Clockwork, and, Broken Myth with defense items, I think you should try it out. You should try it out.
He's been terrorizing the office with that build. Every playtest, he's just there.
Works pretty well on Taka, too.
Yeah. I think the Reza one was particularly effective.
The Reza one's particularly effective, yeah. But
anyways, so let's move on to the next one. So we got Grace now. Grace has been... She had a lot of time in the sun. In fact, she was the sun for a period of time, right? And after the changes to 2.9, there was a couple we tuned her down because of a lot of the number changes that happened with that, right? So we're finally comfortable to sort of start putting her back up. And so she's tankier now all game, right? Armor and shield now is tank stats versus bruiser stats. Her holy shield damage reduction is up when she uses her A, which is huge because this allows her to protect her team much more effectively. And then finally, she's always been a little bit on the energy starved side of things early game. Once you build the Echo, you're okay, but before that point you're just like, man, I really just don't, I feel like I need an energy item all the time. We're reducing the cost of our energy cost on our B, making it more available early game especially, as well as making it so you don't have to build that Echo right away.
Yeah, I like it. Grace is, she's just really good hero, just in general. So we'll see.
She's got the tools.
Saying buffing Grace feels weird coming out of my mouth.
Buffing Grace.
Buffing Grace. Like it's just why? When has that ever been a thing where we wanted to do that? But I understand like the changes that have come in recently have made her not necessarily as much of a go-to. But I hope we see her a little bit more. I do quite like her.
Okay, so this next hero is, he's been around for a little bit, and he's sort of fallen out recently. So Idris is a hero that, with the changes to health, he couldn't deal enough damage to really punch through the enemy anymore. So I was like, you know what? Like, I wanted to bring back, so his Shroud Step originally used to be one of his, was a huge part of his damage, especially in early development for this hero. And then, for the sake of balance, we pulled back on it rapidly at the last second, and I wanted to really bring back that feeling of the Shroud Step just hitting, really impacting.
Yeah.
So Shroud Step's damage, it is a % damage amp, has come up significantly, by 15% at all levels. So instead of it being 10 at level 1, it's 25%. Instead of 35 at level 5, it's a 50% damage amp. That's you're hitting hard.
That's very hard, yeah.
In addition to that, the crystal ratio, we haven't seen CP Idris ever since he lost Broken Myth. And because of that, I've increased his CP ratio back up to 100%. I'm keeping an eye on it. I really want to make sure that both paths stay sort of relevant. This hero is really interesting as a flex pick, as well as just kit-wise or design-wise. So I want to make sure that both stay possible.
I think that's that could easily bring weapon power Idris back into the meta. I mean, especially with the Star Blade kind of first priority, most people will go, but it also continues to make the case for a tension bow follow-up. So you get more weapon amp. So your initial blink on Shroud Step, when you're going in, it's going to do a ton of damage, and you're going to essentially have the tension bow proc on top of the weapon amp. So it's going to be more of an assassin style play versus I would say he really much more found himself in kind of that bruiser mentality for a lot of time in the meta. You just tank up, get a bunch of items, just go in, get a Grace or something to keep healing you. You just keep autoing. Versus this one, I'm more excited for people to time it, time the cooldowns and try to go in and kill someone just in one rotation or dodge, things like that. So. And
now with the buff to Spell Sword, so Spell Sword and Serpent's Mask both got an increase in weapon power. Both of them now give at least 100 weapon power, which is his threshold to activate his perk.
Oh yeah, that opens up a lot of new options.
Yeah, Spell Sword in particular, I'm particularly fond of on him. Actually, we've been seeing a lot of testing with him on that. I'd be excited to see if that actually gets picked up.
Yeah, looks good.
So the next one is one of my things that I decided to sort of I did a lot of talking to the community. A lot of people were I'm like, what do you guys sort of want to see again? And one of the ones that kept popping up was CP Jewel, right? CP Jewel hasn't seen play in a long time. There was a period of time where she ruled the stage. CP Jewel was the thing.
There was, yeah.
It was pretty impacting. In the following patch, things were shifted, and she sort of lost that pizzazz. So I'm giving her a lot of this power back. For one, Thunderstrike, coming up from 135 to 160, that is no slouch number. That's a 25% crystal damage or crystal percent ratio increase. Big Red Button, the crystal ratio per second coming from 300% to 350%. So now Jewel is gonna hit so much harder with her abilities. I'm really excited to see if I actually get to see some Crystal Jewel. I prefer if it was on my team, though, and not on the enemy team, because it doesn't feel good to get lasered.
No, it does not. 300 to 350, that's pretty big. I mean, it was already big. 300, let's not lie.
Per second.
Per second, too.
So it was actually 450 before, because it's a 1.5 second ability. Now it's 470. No. I'm blanking right now.
It's okay. Math is hard, so it's
bonus 75 plus 450, 525. There we go.
So I actually think this could help because at the time where Crystal Jewel was super strong and super in the meta, there were also some things that were changed with her kit, that like how fast the tick damage came out, right? And the fact that you could basically ult someone from the brush and like instantly delete them because there was no way for them to like see you like when the ult happened. So, you know, we changed some things with how the ult's engaged with when the damage comes out, how you can see her when she ults, and that kind of exposed her, if you will. So people kind of stopped going that path, but I think making it stronger makes sense because now she is more predictable if she's Crystal Power, but if you do forget or slip up for a second and you get caught in the big red button, especially for the full duration, that's pretty much like 100-0.
It's potential, yeah.
GG, yeah.
And then with Echo, you have a second chance even.
A second chance.
Second big red
Speaking
button.
of second chances.
Oh,
great.
So Zekin's gonna join. I feel like
I'm looking forward to it. We're just getting a rotation. I would gladly stay here if I could. I mean, I haven't actually gotten a lot of opportunity to be on camera with Vainglory in some time, so I do miss it.
We miss you.
But there's work to be done. Worlds is right around the corner, so I'll speak of the man of the hour. Thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure, Nivmet.
It's always a pleasure.
Oh, don't.
Oh, are you actually going to do a transition this time? So we're going to show another Worlds video, guys. I believe for a different region. So I'm excited to see which one. We don't know ourselves. So let's go.
Let's go.
When we look at South America, only one team comes to mind, and that's Red Canids. These guys dominate their region.
Red Canids has been the dominant team in South America now for years, going all the way back to VIPL.
They are literally the absolute best team, continually at the top for season after season after season.
We have been winning all the championships of our region, but we are here to prove that South America has something people didn't see yet.
Mirachik and Sir Mooser have been in the scene for quite some time. They've actually been playing together for a number of years. The region really hopes that this will be what it takes.
Jesuino is an incredibly versatile player and a great in-game leader. He's someone who can really rally this team and help them peak at the right time.
Red Canids is actually one of the few teams that still switches their positions. Most often we'll see players that dedicate themselves to carry, or perhaps it's the jungle position that you love and that is the only thing that you live in. Red Canids will maneuver positions around a little bit. There's always the ability for them to really pick something that their team might think, oh, we know who's going to play this and how it's going to be played. But if you're able to make that one quick switch, it might just be enough to take a victory.
They've done everything they can in South America, and that next step is making their mark in international competition. They want so badly to win at Worlds, and you cannot underestimate this talented roster.
I actually just downloaded it.
Oh, yay, nice. I think we're back. Are we back?
Yeah.
I assume we're back. Hi, friends.
Okay,
It's been a while.
Is there audio?
That's a good question.
Yes.
What is Shinkaigen doing in the back? That's always a mystery. But I'm here now.
You are.
It's been a while. Haven't been on the stream in
Good to see you.
A month or 2 or 3 or 4. I'm not really sure. It's been a while.
It's been a little bit.
Yep.
It's been a minute.
Hope you're all well out there. But you should, put on your microphone.
Oh, that's
because otherwise I was talking to no one.
Ah, that's well.
Nivmet
I mean,
is
you're still talking to me. I just can't respond.
I'm just talking at you, and you guys can't hear anything he's saying.
Yes. So we were going through the balance changes before.
All right.
Well, like I was talking with Fuji about all of these different changes. This new meta that we're with the off season.
Right.
We're sort of introducing some more interesting changes.
Okay.
We're bringing back a lot of the off-meta heroes, as well as build paths, the secondary build paths. Like, we talked about CP Jewel already. We talked about Weapon Arden.
But how about that Weapon Kashka?
That's not a thing.
Oh, man. but Marguya has made such awesome crit animations for her.
She does actually have very awesome crit animations.
It's true.
But I think if I was going to create a path for a hero based on the crit animation, it would definitely be Scarf.
Scarf does has a pretty epic.
Yeah,
he like turns this into this laser thing.
Yeah,
It's
he shoots like almost like a railgun fireball.
Yeah.
It has like a shockwave that comes out.
It's pretty
That's
awesome.
pretty amazing. Oh, and lightning comes off of his wings as he's doing it too. That's
pretty sweet. If you haven't seen it, go into practice mode, buy a bunch of tornado triggers, and just like blast Kraken or something. It's pretty sweet. All right, but in any case, where are we on the update notes?
So, next one is our favorite cat, Koshka.
Okay. Koshka's pretty awesome.
So Koshka's damage, like she's done okay with when the health changes came out, but she was still a little bit under the weather.
Okay.
So we are buffing her up a bit. Her base damages on her A is coming up, as well as the CP ratio on her B.
Right.
Specifically the empowered attack.
Right. And I think one of the interesting things about this is that it gives you a little bit more flexibility in what your build is, because you're now able to build something a little bit more piercing if your enemies go early shielding, because your base damages are just higher, so you don't have to rely on getting that crystal power as early. But if you do build more heavily into that crystal power, you still have to rely on your empowered attacks as opposed to just jumping in and immediately running out. You have to stay in the fight for at least a second or two to make sure you can get your damage up.
So I think the biggest buff to her is definitely going to be her A buff.
Right.
The base damage is definitely going to be something that's always been something that's really been important to
Right.
Koshka.
The increased damage on the Pouncy Fun is actually super important, especially because like she relies pretty heavily on the damage of that ability. Even though it only hits one target, it really allows her to become that assassin that she wants to be, as opposed to more of a bruiser.
Yeah. So that hopefully these changes will give her the love that she needed, so she's back in. I think she'll be quite viable this next patch.
I'm looking forward to it. She is pretty fun to play.
She's always been fun to play. I was actually just playing her yesterday.
Nice.
It's pretty great. Next hero is up is Cruel.
Okay.
So before the
tell me about these changes.
The torches are lit at me. So Cruel's damage per stack has been reduced, so he's going to deal a bit less when he smites.
So
now,
sad.
the reason for that is the item changes that came in.
Okay.
So
we should preface this a little bit.
Yeah. So
what are these item changes?
Specifically, the one that's most important is actually Shiver Steel.
Okay.
So Shiver Steel, I know you've always loved Shiver Steel.
Best item.
Like in internal playtesting, Z can buy Shiver Steel all the time.
Every hero, every game. It's so good.
And I'm not talking like just like later. No, he'll first buy it frequently. So, but we understand that the world is not Zekin as much as it should be.
I don't know about that.
So we've decided to take Shiver Steel in sort of an interesting direction. Most of the heroes that utilize Shiver Steel are all attack based. So we've actually added attack speed, 25% attack speed to Shiver Steel. It does cost 500 more, which is
reasonable.
That's actually worth it considering,
Blazing Salvo in there, so it's actually kind of cheaper.
Yeah, it costs 700
sort of cheaper
for 20%, but now you're getting 25% for 500.
Right.
It does build out of a Blazing Salvo and a Dragon Heart now, but now this item essentially gives you combat stats, like legitimate combat stats to kill your enemies. And obviously with Cruel, when we were testing it, this item now gave him everything he wanted.
More health, more attack speed, a slow.
Yeah,
what more could he want?
ever
Some
wanted.
cooldown would be nice.
Yes, right. So with these changes, we're like, okay. And as well as the 20 damage increased buff to Spellblade, which makes it actually pretty good on Cruel now.
Right.
We're like, okay, we really need to like tone this down a little bit. So your damage is actually pretty equal though over the course of a fight.
Right.
So your burst is going to be lower, but your upfront damage and like how fast it takes to stack.
But you do have to get that Shiver Steel.
Yes, if you build the Shiver Steel.
All right.
Will be about the same.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah. So I don't really understand why you wouldn't build it. To be fair,
you should put some crystal ratio on that. That way, if you go crystal Cruel, you can burst them even harder. Would be nice.
We never know. Well, maybe Crystal Cruel actually saw it pop up a little while ago. Maybe
pretty awesome. You get a gigantic barrier, pretty hard to take down. Just go in and out.
Aftershock has always been a great item on on Cruel.
Absolutely.
Shinkaigen's OG Cruel build, if anyone remembers that.
Just Clockworks for days?
It was like Aftershock, Clockwork, a defense item, and like
just
like
add 4 more Clockworks to that.
Yeah, then you went more Clockworks.
No worries.
So next big one. So this was huge.
All right.
Lorelei.
Let's hear it.
Lorelei has taken a. We're gonna split up her pass.
Okay.
So in this last patch, we released Lorelei, and it was pretty awesome. But it was very apparent that she could deal tons of damage. She had tons of CC, great self-peel, like
Sounds good to me.
covered the ground in water. Like, she had everything she needed.
Okay.
And so, essentially, with these changes, we've sort of split the two paths. So now, if you're a Crystal, you're still going to have a bit of CC and a bit of, like, utility, but you're going to be more damage-oriented.
Right.
So she's actually going to deal more damage. But her stun is going to be lower, her slow is going to be weaker, and her barrier is going to be weaker, right?
Seems reasonable.
But to compensate this on the other side, now all three of these abilities have health ratios.
Interesting.
So
okay.
support Lorelei, or Captain Lorelei, as she's building health, the strength of her stun, or the duration of her stun, the strength of her slows, and the strength of her barrier will increase. So once you hit around 1500 life, that's about like, if you get a Fountain, Crucible, War Treads, like those three items together, you'll hit the cap for your first two abilities, which I believe is back up to 1 second or 1 second stun on her A, and a 50% slow now on her B.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, so she actually will have a stronger slow.
So what you're saying is that if you're going carry Lorelei, you should build War Treads.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, I do honestly believe that.
That's
and
the thing to
maybe
do.
as your defensive item, you go Slumbering Husk or Crucible instead.
There you go.
That way, it's not you're gonna lose out on some defense for maybe they have a weapon carry or something. But in the scenario, you'll get some utility, right?
So you can be a little more creative with your item builds. You don't have to just stick with the standard, carry defensive items. You can go for more Slumbering Husk, Crucible, maybe in a Fountain. Just try getting a little bit more CC out of your abilities, even though you might lose a little bit of damage and defense from it.
Yep, exactly. So, as well as the strength of the barrier, definitely is going to feel a lot more awesome for support Lorelei.
Looking forward to it.
I did leave the empowered strength up.
Okay.
I did not change that. The reason for that is I want Crystal Lorelei to still have the option to self-peel creatively for themselves if they're playing right by staying in pools of water.
Right.
So in its current form, I'm leaving the empowered shield strength up. So if they can use that correctly, it's going to be great for them.
Sounds good.
So in short, guys, naming off the changes. Her crystal ratio on her auto attack is up, and you're scrolling away from it as I'm listing.
I'm seeing if you remember all your changes.
Crystal ratio on her auto attack is up by 10%. Her stun duration is down from 1 second to 0.45, but now has the health ratio. Her cooldowns on her A and B are up by, I believe, a second each.
Okay.
So 2 seconds actually on her stun and 1 second on her B. So, but the damage is down as well. Base damage is down, but the CP ratio is back up.
Right.
So once you hit around like 200 CP, you actually start dealing more damage than before.
All right.
So a Crystal Lorelei will actually hit super hard now, because most people forget this, but if you're standing in a pool at level 12, you get 180 bonus crystal power.
Oof.
So
that's pretty good.
It's better than
free Shatter Glass.
Yeah, it's a Shatter Glass and a crystal bit and a half, right? So
very nice. I'll take it.
Yeah, so it's a ton of stats. But what makes that so important is that by increasing her crystal ratios specifically and not the base damage, she actually gets a much more vaulting buff than most other heroes, because you could build, you'll build your Shatter Glass on her. And you're like, okay, that feels pretty impact. Now I'm gonna put myself in a pool, and it's gonna feel doubly as so.
Right.
Sounds
good.
Yeah. So
Looking
the slow
forward to it.
is now 25% at all levels. That now has the health scaling as well, and then the crystal ratio on the shield is down from 150% to 100%. Now has the health ratio. And the base health on it is lowered a little bit.
Right.
So, but that one evens out pretty early.
Seems solid. Okay. All right.
So
what's next? We got Lyra on the list.
So Lyra.
What have you done to Lyra?
Lyra has been a bit of the queen of the meta for a long time, right?
Well,
yeah,
probably.
Yeah. So CP Lyra didn't make as much of an impact yet.
Okay.
So we're gonna give her more. Like, remember I was saying, like, we really want to increase the secondary builds this path or patch. So we gave CP Lyra a bit of love, increase her CP ratios a bit more. Imperial Sigil has been the most.
But it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really, really awesome. And so, in short, the burst heal that you get when you just throw it and pop it has been reduced from 60% to 50%.
Okay, that's fair. That means you have to be a little bit more creative, or you have to plan out your moves a little bit more.
Yes.
You don't want to just like, okay, my out control, throw down the sigil, immediately pop it, they get a huge burst of heal. Yeah. You have to actually, to get the most effectiveness out of it, you actually have to make sure that your allies are kind of in a position where they can stay in the sigil for longer.
Exactly. So in addition to that, the speed boost on it is down.
Okay.
Speaking of throwing it and popping it right away.
All those Sob mains will be a little bit sad.
So, I mean, you're still going to get a substantial speed boost. It's coming down from 2 to 1.5, right? So
yeah, that's a 25% reduction, so pretty dramatic there.
It's a strong. You're going to feel the reduced move speed, but she's still going to be able to boost her team as needed.
Absolutely.
In addition to that, the health ratio on it is down from 13% to 11%. So a little bit of a reduction there means that building health will be a little bit less effective.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So basically, Captain Lyra a little bit weaker, but still very effective, and Crystal Lyra a little bit better, even though she doesn't have quite the same amount of movement speed.
Yeah.
And her heal will be a little bit weaker because even as a carry, you do buy a little bit of health.
Yeah. So, so a little bit weaker, but not too much.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
So Rhyme is the next one here.
Okay.
So
Rhyme's been interesting, right?
2.9 was Rhyme's golden age, right? So
Perfect.
And with the health changes and Dragon Eye and like a lot of the things just went his way, and so he all of a sudden became incredibly good, and so they really were like, do something, and we're like, okay, and so we whacked Rhyme pretty hard.
He was still pretty good.
We took away his walking stick. We took away his walking stick.
He didn't need it anyway.
And now we're giving him a smaller walking stick.
All right.
So in short, we want to lean more into this concept of Rhyme as the Crystal Bruiser.
Okay.
Right. So we're increasing how much fortified life he can generate and how fast he generates it.
Right.
We've given him a little bit of his CP ratio back on his auto attack, like 10%. So his damage is a little bit better. So because he had taken a pretty hard hit in the previous patch.
Right.
So now we're sort of like leaning heavier into like, you are this bruiser. Like you need to get in there and deal damage to be tanky.
Makes sense.
If you don't, you're gonna die.
Right.
Like so. We've really, with these changes, he's going to feel a lot better, hopefully.
Sounds good. And, of course, you made some changes to Ringo, so I feel like this was actually kind of significant because it's not actually a huge buff if you just look at the numbers, but getting a little bit more attack range and a little bit more damage early on means that he'll be a little bit more oppressive in lane, and he's already a pretty solid laner where he's able to really take advantage of his double down perk and just do a bunch of damage to anyone who is laning against him, assuming that they are a little bit careless and walk forward when he does have that extra crit up.
Yeah, so we've increased how much damage Ringo does in the early game. With his base stats.
Right.
This does level up back to where it was at level 12. But what's important is that I want people to lean in more heavily into like picking Ringo for that early game pick, right? Like he's always been this great early game weapon carry. You have other weapon carries who start to shine late game, like Baron and Kestrel. He's always been the early game weapon carry, right? So with this change, that's a little bit better. But in addition to that, he doesn't have the mobility a lot of those heroes have, and so he needs a slightly safer range to compensate.
Right.
And so we've increased his range from 6 to 6.2.
So not a huge amount, but it's pretty sizable.
Amount, but you're gonna feel it.
Right.
0.1 you won't really feel. 0.6 0.2 you'll feel it.
Yeah.
A little bit more. So hopefully this gives Ringo the love that he needs to feel better. And now on to Rona. So.
But first, for you guys who are joining us for the 2.11 down/uptime stream. We're still in maintenance in China and Southeast Asia, so give us a little bit. We're still working on that, and those will be up as soon as possible. Engineers are working hard in the back there, and once they're ready, we'll be sure to let you know.
Warring it up.
Yeah. I don't know why it's called the War Room.
Because they're declaring war on
on the servers
bugs and horrible.
But aren't we always doing that?
Huh?
We're always at war with bugs.
Yes, but this is the war room. That's like where you strategize and,
I see.
bring it all together.
Heard it from Nivmet first?
Yeah.
The war room is where we go to strategize against bugs.
We don't like
Or
bugs.
something like that.
Sure.
All right, in any case,
moving
let's
back.
talk about Rona.
So, Rona has been incredibly strong this last patch.
Okay.
It's
Lane
good.
Rona, carry
Yeah.
Rona. Pretty effective.
It's great to see her finally, like, really kicking in. There was a period of time where she was really weak for a while, and now we've brought her back up. And so, there's a couple things we've done. One, we've decreased the amount of damage she's going to deal with her spin by lowering her weapon ratio. And two, we've decreased the amount of fortified life that she generates, making her a little bit easier to kill. But the other point that we made is we've increased the cooldown of Red Mist. So what essentially this means, if you manage to get out of the Red Mist so she stops spinning because she can't deal damage, or she's not taking damage or dealing damage,
right?
Or you stun her, she now has a decent amount of time before she can enter that state again.
Right.
Right. So
just a couple more seconds.
Yeah,
not much.
But in a team fight, 2 seconds is a huge.
It's true.
Is a decent amount of time.
Right.
So, it becomes a little bit easier to counterplay it if you have the right heroes or the right strategy, as in everyone getting out of that Red Mist in time.
Seems reasonable.
Okay, Samuel. Samuel has been he hasn't been particularly happy since he lost his Broken Myth.
Well, I mean, he's getting Dragon's Eye now, which is
he was particularly fond of Broken Myth, but now with the Dragon's Eye, plus we've increased the CP ratio on his A on both forms of his empowered and non-empowered.
Yep.
But most of all, we have gotten rid of that ridiculous overdrive of his B.
I like that overdrive.
No, it was awful.
I used it.
No one used it.
I used it.
No one but you used it.
Aw.
So the overdrive, essentially what it is, it sped up the speed of the cloud. Now, there was 2 issues with that. One, it made it feel very inconsistent to the actual speed of how it's supposed to move. And 2, it would actually outrun you.
Nah.
It could outrun you.
It
like,
could.
Legit. Like, and the thing is, if you had fallen behind it, you couldn't get back into it very easily.
Shouldn't have fallen behind.
That wasn't really intended gameplay. So we have removed that. Or that bonus movement speed, and essentially allowed it so when you overdrive it, it will stay on a little bit longer, or stay around a little bit longer, so you can feel empowered for a bit more.
Okay, that's fair.
Samuel has always been a moving zone breaker, right? Like, he's supposed to put down Drifting Dark and move with it, and you crack, like zones, like our zone creators, like Lyra and such. So with this change, hopefully this is going to feel a lot better.
Sounds good. All right, I see you've nerfed Saw here. What's up with that?
We're not used to. I like
you
to use
don't
the
nerf
term.
Saw.
I'd like to use the term tuning.
No,
like
I'm pretty
Saw.
sure this is a nerf. Pretty sure. 99% sure.
Saw has been quite popular as of late.
Saw is always awesome.
Yeah, Saw is always awesome, but he can be a bit mean to others.
Too awesome.
And
Too much awesomeness.
Like, we wanted to really lean into his auto attacks, his main form of damage.
Okay.
Or, like, if you're going to finish them off with a roadie run.
That's me going Crystal.
So, we're getting to that.
I don't know. Looks like a straight nerf to me.
Can I get Fuji back? Anyways, so, yes, we reduced the damage on his Suppressive Fire a bit, which essentially what this means is that he's going to deal a bit less from that range. So, Weapon Saw is going to lose some damage, and yes, it will hurt Crystal Saw. We will keep an eye on Crystal Saw, though, and if need be, that may be the next hero that we go visit and give some love to.
Sounds good to me.
But all things aside, this damage decrease is gonna, Suppressive Fire is his spin-up mechanic for the weapon path. And we're leaning more into the weapon path currently, and we'll visit the CP path next patch. Or
Sounds good.
The patch after that.
I'm looking forward to it.
I know we have a lot of players who really enjoy CP Saw, so
yeah. He's pretty awesome.
You could still, if you do the Aftershock build, you're not losing.
It's still good, but I mean, I personally like maxing suppressing fire pretty early on,
Yeah,
and
'cause it
now
had-
you lose a little bit of damage.
The thing is that suppressing fire had a really weird scaling to it.
Mhm.
It had so most abilities in the game when they are level up, let's say you gain 50 damage per level.
Okay.
Some of them when you overdrive go up, twice as much. So they go from 50 per level to 100 for the last level. Saw went, 60 per level, and then on the last one went up 60 plus an additional 120.
Sounds good to me.
So
I'm okay with this.
It created this really weird scaling for his suppressing fire, which was just, wait, why? Like you went from like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Like it. So if anything,
I'm okay with this.
it's gonna create a much a linear increase in power.
All right. I'll give you this one
for now. I know. If he needs it, I'll go back and visit him. I promise. I'm always keeping an eye on these kind of things.
All right.
So next.
So you heard it here. Nimit's got his eye on all the things, all the time.
Things. I've got my dragons.
Every time.
Get it?
You should get two of them. You should get like a Tyrant's Monocle, another Tyrant's Monocle, a Dragon's.
Dragon that doesn't stack.
Spellfire. Just get everything. Got like a little ring, got
up
your
or something like.
I want
so
to see
bling.
someone like I think a while back someone made like the Vainglory hero made of items. There's like an image of that. It was pretty sweet. It was just like Tyrant's Monocles with like I don't remember, but
See,
it was
I always
awesome.
imagine like when people build multiple Tyrant's Monocles, you're just adding more lenses. So you're like
Nah, you have more monocles on, so it's just like little like bands all over your face.
It's like two of them is like okay, you got the two, and then the third one just like what goes like
onto your nose.
Onto your nose. Okay. So next one we brought back Weapon Sky a little bit. So we gave her some more weapon ratio back on her forward barrage. This will allow the Weapon Skies of the world to be like, hey, I can use my forward barrage now for damage more than just a slow now.
Slow is nice.
So it's still there.
That's okay. Some damage is nice too.
Yeah. So now you have all the nice things.
There you go. All the nice things.
And so again, this came from like when I was asking around, like, what do you guys sort of want to see again? Weapon Sky was one of the ones that popped up, but the only one that was heard as much as CP Jewel was CP Vox.
All right, let's hear about it.
So I have buff CP Vox.
Oh God,
have mercy on me and my soul. So I've increased the base damage of his resonance bounces, and I've increased the crystal ratio on his resonance bounces. So his resonance bounces are really awesome now.
All right then.
So yes, I buffed Crystal Vox. God. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna
if
see
you
how it
say
works.
so.
And then in addition to that, with the Dragon's Eye changes,
okay,
it's gonna work.
We'll see how it goes.
It's gonna work really well.
It'll be interesting.
It's gonna be great.
We're gonna just see wait for it come out, insta wipe the enemy team, call it a day.
Let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's really hope
Good
that
times.
doesn't happen. No, that
Good
wasn't
times.
great. That was horrible times.
I remember during development of Vox, there was one game where I was like the last person left on my team, and my enemies were still about full health. And I threw out wait for it, and I just wiped the enemy team. Like, I didn't even do anything else. I literally just threw out my ultimate, and they all died. It
What
was
I
so
have
good.
to say to you is that happened after his release.
No.
Yes!
That happened even better before his release. We tuned him down for release.
That was the tune. You heard it here, guys. 1.3 Vox was tuned down Vox.
It's true.
I'm really curious what tuned up Vox was.
He was extra awesome.
He was extra awesome. It definitely
At
sounds
least 15% more awesome.
Wow, that's a lot of awesome.
Yeah, pretty sweet. I mean, that was back in the day when Taka had like 75% lifesteal on his perk and all that stuff.
It was 35%.
Good enough. Close enough. It was a lot. It was a lot.
You
don't need that much lifesteal.
It was 35 that we brought down to 25%.
I'm pretty sure it was 75% at one point. Pretty sure.
Oh, you're talking about like the old version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
25? No, but then it was changed to being like 5% per level, actually.
Yeah,
I think
we moved
it was 25% and then got moved to like 4% per level, so it's 20%. Anyways, we're moving on, guys. So Dragon's Eye we discussed. It now works more like old Broken Myth, where it stacks up a little bit at the same speed, but it loses stacks a lot slower. It also takes longer to start to lose stacks. We have increased, though, the number of stacks that it takes. That you now need 12 stacks to max it out, as well as we've reduced the amount of stacks that, or the amount of crystal that each stack gives.
Right, but it still ends up at the same amount.
Yes, exactly. It evens out at the end. Next one is
so basically Dragon's Eye's gonna be awesome this update.
Yeah, so now it's buildable on more than just Alpha and Rhyme. It's gonna be usable on Celeste.
So basically, just get on like most crystal heroes.
You can't. Well, I mean, if you're
and
if
also captains.
If you're no,
it's great on captains.
No.
Yeah, you're constantly doing damage.
What captain would I build this on?
Grace.
Why would no? I just want a Shatterglass.
Why did you not build a Dragon's Eye?
Because I have to build that up for Grace.
You're not gonna not be able to build it up.
What if my carry gets bursted? I need to heal him right away.
Don't let it happen then.
What the? They'll be like, hey, enemy team, I understand you want to kill my carry. Can you give me like 4 or 5 seconds of fighting so I can?
You should have already been in there then.
For 4 or 5 seconds? Yeah. Man, I know I buffed Grace. I didn't buff her that much. Okay, we're moving on. Serpent's Mask. So we've seen the weapon tree that crit items have been like definitely the more dominant item path.
Right.
So we're giving the.
Gotta get that sweet damage.
Damage is damage, right? So we're gonna give the utility items a bit of damage.
All right.
So Serpent's Mask first.
Okay.
We're bringing it back to 100. Where it used to be at like 90, 95 way back in the day. It got reduced down to 80 or then up to 85, and now we're bringing it actually up to 100.
Okay.
So
Rona will be happy. Rona will be happy.
Rona will be happy, and that's actually part of the reason why I actually reduced her fortified life generation.
Reasonable.
And she actually and her weapon ratio is because Serpent's Mask, one of her core items, had gotten a buff.
Right. Seems reasonable.
And she was already strong. And so, again, Shiver Steel, we talked about that earlier.
Right.
Now gives
some attack speed. Yep.
That's a pretty decent amount of attack speed.
Yeah,
25%. Yeah, that's a solid amount of attack speed.
It is.
More, it does cost 500 more, and it builds out of a Blazing Salvo and Dragonheart. That's totally worth it.
You're recouping like 200 of that gold from Blazing Salvo anyway.
Yeah. So and getting 5% more attack speed.
Right.
So as well as we've reduced the cooldown of Shiver Steel, so you can use it a little bit more often.
You might as well just remove the cooldown. Just make it a passive item.
We tested something like that a little while ago.
Oh, sweet.
People were really upset at me.
Like, you should try it again. It was great.
Like, Ed the Shred was legitimately mad at me. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, let's tune it back.
That was awesome.
What did I? Oh yeah, I made the cooldown 8 seconds, and the duration lasted for 6 or something like that. So you had just like it all was up except for like 2 seconds.
That was awesome.
It was pretty amazing. But it wasn't. It was a little toxic. I'll be honest. So, anyways, moving on. Spell Sword did get a buff.
Okay.
Got a pretty sizable buff.
This is like a pretty good item already.
Yeah.
I feel.
In all honesty, I thought Spell Sword was a great item. Apparently, a lot of people didn't think so.
What about that Lucky Bread, like, triple Spell Sword build?
Lucky Bread has always... TSM Lucky Bread has always loved his triple Spell Sword on, like, Alpha and Lance. Like, I see... It's one of his favorites.
I mean, it's
pretty
a great
good.
item. You get weapon power, you get cooldown, you get some energy recharge. It's pretty sweet.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
With this new change, though, it will give 20 more weapon power, so it's up to 110 now. So it's actually a pretty good hitting item.
Yeah.
It's still the same price, too, at 2,600, so it's very efficient for its cost. And we've cranked up the amount of energy that it gives back. So with the energy changes that came in and buffs that came in last patch, I didn't buff this one for the weapon heroes.
Right.
Fixing that. So now if they buy this and they're constantly auto-attacking, they shouldn't have the same energy issues.
Right.
They shouldn't have major energy
So basically,
issues.
if you're playing like Ringo and you get your twirling slower, you can basically be spamming it now.
Yeah, you can twirl.
As long as you're attacking enemy heroes.
Yes.
If you're just attacking minions, probably not.
You just
have to hit a lot of minions, I guess.
yeah, you're going to get some, but not nearly as much.
Right.
Okay, so that's it for the balance changes, guys.
Sounds good.
Feel free to go out and play.
You guys should go try out some Onslaught later.
Yes, I love Onslaught.
It's super fun.
Yes, I already have like different strategies that I do.
So what is your favorite strategy? Because I personally like banking up some gold and getting some interest in.
Yeah, it's
do pretty good.
The interesting. We tend to run like the first round. Like people tend to after right now it feels like people don't buy anything in the first round. So what we like to do is have one person buy something.
No one expects it, and they just like carry that round.
And then you get that round, and you have two people who didn't spend anything, and you win one round.
Yep.
And then you get the third round, and you just buy like
all the things,
4 completed items,
and just
right
wreck face.
Yeah. So.
But I mean, that only works if like you might win that first round, but if all your opponents saved up, then they might just crush you in the third round.
Exactly. So.
It's pretty interesting because the dynamic is that even if you save up for the first 4 rounds, the 5th round everyone basically has full items anyway. So doing that like interest mechanic doesn't really work on the last round. So even if you save up for the first 2 rounds and you like kind of forfeit those, if your opponents win those 2 and you win the next 2, you're still on even footing on the last round.
Yes, exactly. I like there are certain heroes that I particularly enjoy in this mode. Lorelei is one of them, and Rhyme is the other.
I actually found Lance to be really fun.
Lance is great because you knock people out of the.
Yeah, I think there was one game where like the what is it called? The borders were closing in. It was like it was me and I think Captain Nito left, and he was playing Lorelei, I was playing Lance. And then I bought an Echo that round. So I roll over a wall, shove him out of the zone. He's like, oh shoot, I gotta get back in. So he tries to run back in. I use my Echo and shove him back out. He's just like burns to death.
Yeah.
It was great.
And then some of these there's some hilarious talent plays. Like I've seen like Catherine's legendary, even though it's one of my
amazing.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite talents for a long time, but no one liked it.
It was hard to use effectively.
I really liked that talent, and I was like, okay, fine. I guess it's just not that good. But now it's awesome.
You can literally just like blow people. Like Catherine's ultimate or legendary mixed with I think Batiste's like the army of shades or whatever.
The double shades one?
It is crazy.
Yeah, so there's a lot of really cool like mechanics to like shove your opponents out, like so.
Even Pedals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't actually try that one. That would be a good one to try out.
They just get like boom, 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 boom.
So we do have that Onslaught video. Let's pull that up.
Yep.
Shin.
Ever wanted the fun of slaying your opponents without any other distractions? Enter Onslaught, Vainglory's short brawl game mode where 2 teams of 3 players lock horns in consecutive rounds of tight quartered combat. Each round, the stakes are raised, with more money to spend and talents from which to choose. And because it's all action, your team fighting skills are tested every match. If you don't have time for a full 20-minute match, or you want short bursts of intense fun, Onslaught will be your new favorite game mode. Here is how it works. Players compete in a best of 5 rounds format. At the start of each round, players can select a talent that they own for their hero. Choose when to use a talent carefully. Once a talent is used, it will be unavailable for future rounds. Players will be granted gold and experience in order to buy items and level up their hero. Players will also be rewarded additional gold based on how much gold they had left over in the previous round, so sometimes it may be advantageous to hold off on purchasing items. Once everyone is ready, players are teleported to the middle of the map where they will fight to the death. If an entire team is not eliminated within that time, then sudden death occurs and the playing field begins to shrink. Players outside of the boundary will take a large amount of damage and must make their way toward the center of the map. A team wins the round once all members of the opposing team are eliminated. The first team to win 3 rounds wins the match. Try out the new Blitz Onslaught game mode when it comes to Vainglory in Update 2.11.
So I actually really love the fact that you see like when the barriers are closing in, you see the mad dash. We gotta get back in the barrier. Gotta get back in the barrier. It's not even like, oh, we should kill our enemies. It's, oh shoot, we're all burning to death.
There are so many cool strategies that you can do with that. Like, for example, actually, I believe Lucky Bread was here for a day visiting because he was in town, and we were all like dashing out or trying to get back into the barrier, and he was playing Finn, and he pulls everyone back out with him, and the enemy team dies. I'm just like, yay! My favorite, actually, one of my favorite heroes to run is actually Idris.
Okay.
And the reason why is when we get this closing thing, I tell my friend, first off, I'm sorry. Like, really.
I'm ditching you, peace.
I jump into them, and so they're like, I have 3 seconds of where I don't take damage from from the
out of bounds.
Yeah, from
Oh
out of
man,
bounds.
that's mean.
And then they burn to death, and the enemy team is burning, and then I jump out and I start to burn, but by the time
He's like,
they're
I'm
dead.
good, all
Yeah.
is well. But that does assume that you're not using your ultimate throughout the whole entire battle.
Yes.
So you could just lose the battle before that point.
Or I should be using Shimmer Strike.
That's true.
Or Shimmer
Heal.
Shimmer Heal.
That thing is really good.
That thing is amazing. It's probably one of my favorite talents right now.
It is some like at first when it first came out, I was like, it's aight. But after it got like some buffs here and there, I was like, this thing is amazing.
Yeah,
like every game.
It's like as long as you're attacking constantly, it's up like every like 5 seconds or something.
It is pretty
nuts.
crazy. You're just like healing your teammates left and right.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It's pretty fun too. I like it.
So yeah, actually speaking of which, we did actually Sonata did go and balance some talents.
Okay.
We should mention those.
I mean, you should just run through a list real quick because there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. So
yeah, dodges Avenging Wrath. Some damage went up a little bit.
Yeah.
Alpha's core overclock, attack speed decreased a little bit.
Yeah.
But also a little bit of weapon power decrease because it was kind of impressive. You just turned it on and you just kind of won.
I really liked it because I could just press B on Alpha and then I just hit people really fast. It was a little nuts.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Arden's Vanguardian down in damage a little bit. But it wasn't really for the damage. So
Yeah, you bought it for the shields. So
right.
So the damage now is actually less.
Yeah. And also one of the big ones that I think people were kind of having issues with, Baron's Endless Mortars.
Endless Mortars has been nerfed.
I like someone made like a movie montage out of it. I remember. Do you see that on Reddit? Like someone made like a movie montage out of it. It's like starring like Barons Endless Mortars, and it's just like murdering turrets. It was pretty great.
So yeah, so the base damage on it has been knocked from like 75% to 50%, and then from there it scales back up with level.
Right.
Once it hits max level, I think it reaches
Pretty much
about,
evens out again. Yeah.
But
it's pretty good though.
It's been nerfed. It's
Yeah.
like the big thing.
But you will still see a lot of mortars. They're just less murderous.
Yes.
Yep.
They're still endless.
Yep. Pretty much.
So the
Black
other
Feather's
thing is
elusiveness.
Blackfeather. Well, his energy cost on his legendary is down.
Yeah, because he wasn't even able to use it.
Yeah, that was sort of lame. Like you have 4 charges of your Rose offensive, but you weren't able to use 4
Yeah, it's
charges.
like, I'll just use it like once or twice. That's it, right?
Okay.
Didn't really work out.
We had
Catherine's Advancing Guard.
Yes,
that was,
we nerfed it. I was so done with that one.
That one was pretty good.
I was done with it. Like people get like 20 stacks or 25
It's like
stacks.
one shot you.
I just be like, what do I do?
I can't
to
kill you because you're gonna try and Storm Guard. You're gonna hit me and I'm gonna die.
You have movement speed buff. You have stun. You have silences. I can't. There's nothing I have to fight you.
Yep. Churnwalker, Turn Tank.
So Churnwalker, when we released him, I guess his talents didn't scale very well. The scaling on them was off.
Yeah.
So we essentially just tuned it so they feel a bit better.
Right.
The numbers are still there, like the base numbers are still there, but now it scales way better with level.
Right.
I love Cloud of Torment actually in Onslaught because you pull
everyone comes in and
you pull everyone in and you do some awesome damage to everyone.
Yep. That's actually like a
They're
pretty strong
stuck
talent.
with you.
Damage per second per talent level increased from 0.1 to like 40. That's
Yes.
pretty significant. Holy cow.
Well, it wasn't scaling with level.
That is true.
It was sort of like
9.1 is
yeah,
nothing.
It was a bit of a
Whoops.
bug almost.
Yep.
And so Kestrel's piercing shot.
Ooh, this thing is painful.
Yeah, this thing hits really, really hard now, and the cooldown's even lower. Holy snap!
But it is still like you gotta aim it.
Yeah.
And it is kind of hard to hit.
You gotta aim, but dang, that thing hits hard.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, so
Definitely pretty good.
it's definitely worth picking up. The damage on Koshka's Frenzy's talent, that's the one that reduces her cooldowns with
I believe so.
Yeah, when she auto attacks. That one has come up. Lance's Striker, I think, got buffed, right?
Yep. So a little
Just
bit more damage increase per level and also base, and then also Impale cooldown reduction increased a little bit too. So.
Lyra's Mobile Bulwark got nerfed. Thank you, Sonata.
Well, the base has been nerfed. It still scales up decently. It doesn't scale up to as high as it was before, but
it was like it used to last like 4 or 6 seconds, something ridiculous.
Pretty sweet.
Like especially like level 1, it was still 2.2 seconds, right? That's the It's a bonus. That's a bonus. So it's 2 seconds plus that, and so that the bonus has been reduced from 2.2 to 1.4. So I hope I see a lot less of that.
Fair enough. All right. But how about that Resum?
Oh,
Burning Varia. So
yeah, so that
Varia down a little bit, but it scales up a little bit. Scales actually,
No,
it
scales
just
worse.
scales less too.
Yeah, so
that one was
that
pretty
talent
good.
was
You were unkillable.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, but for those of you, let's go through the rest of these talents. But all the servers are up and all the clients are out. So go download the game, go play some Onslaught, go play some Rank, go play some standard games, Battle Royale, Blitz, wherever you want. Go play some Onslaught.
I will see you on the Onslaught field. I promise you.
All right, you'll see him. But let's finish up these talents because there's just a handful more.
Yeah, there's
Saw's
3 more.
Road Rage. I like this one actually.
Yeah, because you love Road Rage.
Yeah.
That's like your favorite Saw talent, right?
When I'm driving to work, I'm just like.
He has like a Saw statue that's just like, or a little Saw figurine
On
that hangs.
a little
Yeah.
That'd be pretty great. I would do that.
Or maybe like you have a bobblehead Saw. Just like.
That'd be pretty sweet. I would buy one of those.
I would too, actually. Yep. If anyone knows where I can get one.
All right. In any case, got Scar's Flash Fire.
Yep.
That's the one where you can basically instantaneously use your.
That one was
Dragon's
really
Breath.
cool, and I had such high hopes for it, but it wasn't just. Whenever I used it, just never paid off. It just didn't deal enough damage.
But now it's pretty good.
it's actually pretty awesome.
Yep.
So, you're gonna see. I hopefully see a bit more of that one.
Right.
Sky's Raining Death. That's
Damage
the
up a
one,
bit.
Yeah, that's the one where she has multiple charges. Just hits a bit harder.
Yep.
It's gonna feel a lot better.
Yep. That's pretty much it. So hope you guys enjoy the update.
Oh.
Go play some Onslaught, and Niven has something else to say.
One last thing. So bug change that we made or fixed. Grumpjaw. So this is big for our favorite eater.
Eater.
Hungry. I don't
Hungry.
I don't want to say hippo. He's not a hippo. Hungry beast. I don't know. Like
hungry thing.
Hungry thing.
Yep. Hungry thing.
Yes.
That's his official name now.
So Grumpjaw had a thing where to explain what the bug is essentially if he was hit on the same frame by several packets of damage, he would lose multiple stacks.
Makes sense.
So let's say Sky was hitting him with like a ton of packets of damage and someone else was hitting him at the same exact time, he'd lose like all his stacks instantly.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, which made him incredibly squishy because he needed his perk to stay tanky.
And that's especially true if you're taking damage from something like someone with a Storm Crown, Aftershock, Tension Bow. It's like instantaneous loss of all your stacks.
There's a ton of different like extra bursts of damage in a single moment.
Yep.
And so we fixed that. You can only lose 1 stack per second now, just as it says. That means if you could hit auto attack someone once per second,
you're good.
You maintain your stacks, you maintain your tankiness. Hopefully that allows Grumpjaw to jump back in. With the buff to his last patch, his base damages on his A, I honestly think like he may like CP and support Grumpjaw may make a comeback.
Sounds good. All
okay,
right.
guys.
But with that, go have fun. Go play some Onslaught. Go play some Vainglory. We'll see you out on the fold.
See you
Till
later,
next
guys.
time.
Enjoy
Bye-bye.
Varia.